Welcome back. We are here for episode 4 of Project Crit. Last we left off, you guys were making your way out of Safeton after something of a little bit eventful night, more so for some of you than others. But the path ahead is relatively secure. The path behind, seemingly not so much. You guys packed up, put everything in your carriage, and we're ready to take off. Is there anything you would like to do before you leave to continue your journey to Elredd?
I think as we were packing up, Valdov has hesitated to put her stuff back into the carriage. The warning against using strong magic kind of taking her entirely out of commission. She is a wizard and a ranger, and her bow is magic, and there's really nothing she can do that isn't magic. And so she looked behind her to see if maybe it was worth just going home and sticking to the path and bounding off on the little rabbit adventure that she might have had, and then the path is destroyed. So that's not an option, but seeing that, some of the gears that have been clicking in her head finally snap into place, and she turns around to Kai.
Kai is watching it dead on and just...
And to Pygmaeus, and she goes, yeah, so I've hypothesized that this is an intelligent creature. That's confirmation. Unintelligent life or life forms, even spells that are willing to put themselves through the danger of destruction to fuck up our day are controlled by something intelligent, and creatures that are intelligent don't put themselves in harm's way for an end goal that is not as simple as food or water.
Well, I must say I'm a bit bewildered by this. However, this blight should have grown out of a singular point, which means should we follow all these routes, it should come from a singular location.
Oh, you're saying like how the way that they've kind of gone outwards, that if you trace them all back, there must be one thing at the center.
Correct.
The way that you see the blight kind of overtake the area around you, yes, it does spread outwards. You can tell it's definitely heading in a given direction, meaning it definitely came from somewhere. It's hard to tell, especially considering it is so ubiquitous around you, like it's so massively consumed the area, that it's hard to tell exactly which way it's like going. Either you are so far from whatever center you are speaking on that the path is almost essentially become all but straight, or it's got like multiple nodes. It's hard to tell, at least here.
Can I ask you to clarify, when you look at these routes, as you describe, do they get thinner and thinner and thinner the longer they go, or are they kind of thin, thick, thin?
So that is a good question. What it is that there are essentially these main tendrils, these very thick ones that are a few inches in diameter that kind of snake along paths, and you actually see smaller ones offshoot from there and get thinner as they kind of get further from the main one. Now, you definitely have seen the tendrils generally get thicker the further away from Greyhawk you've gotten. But for the most part, there are like essentially main branches. You can almost think of it like a tree. There are main branches, and then there are like offshoots that get thinner and smaller that branch out from there.
It's like a cardiovascular system.
Something of that.
The epicenter of the blight is not somewhere I'm trying to go. I'm trying to get to, well, I guess at this point, Prometheus Tower, since there's not an easy or safe way for me to get home by myself. So I will try and stay out of y'all's way.
I mean, it's especially also the fact that even if the path were not kind of broken up behind you, getting back alone would be dangerous, even if you were as prepared as you could be.
Right, well, I suppose to Prometheus Tower we shall go. DM! DM.
Yes.
Who are we talking to?
Don't worry about it. Shit.
That means we're gonna have to put you in an old folks home.
So, saying that to Pygmaeus, who has seemingly returned to his humanoid form after donning his fez. Yes.
Can you describe the circle that we are standing on?
Correct.
It rises off the ground, correct?
The sand platform?
Yes.
Doesn't rise off the ground.
Kind of like
no, more so is like there's enough sand piled to where there's like a layer of it.
Okay.
And but it does like get thin towards the edges.
And when we threw the sand on the blight, it retreated.
Yes.
However, it was able to...
It did just destroy the path behind
this.
Exactly. So it does have some kind of sentience to understand that cutting us off from the way back, even though at its own detriment, is something that it can do. Does that mean that where we are standing, it is either too weak or it would cost it too much to get on us? Or is there any sort of evidence from what we can glean around us that this creature has tried to infiltrate over the sand?
No, we did see tendrils trying to get towards Leomund's tiny hut.
But could not make it over the sand.
Yeah, so I'm
Give me
assuming
an
it's the
investigation
sand.
check as well. Yeah, so go ahead and give me an investigation check.
The sand she has told you about, the lead and silver elements in it, are theoretically what is pushing it away. See, if you'd roll in an empty dice tray that doesn't have crap in it.
It doesn't matter. It's going to roll the same way anyways, right?
What'd you get?
You know, actually, she's so right. Can I roll again? I think it was kind of...
It was a 9.
No. Come on. It was
So
cocked.
is that 9 total, or
was a
is that 10? Okay. Well, 10's not bad. It's just kind
Exactly.
of neutral.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's hard to tell, especially only having this one instance to go off of. You don't know if this is kind of a strange one-off thing or if this is a consistent pattern of behavior. You having been a field researcher have seen the blight out in the wild to some degree, though not in this kind of manner. It's getting much stranger and more potent the further you get from Greyhawk. Looking at the way that the sand has been kind of laid out and the way that the blight has been interacting with it, you can kind of, with just a 10, glean that at the very least, it does not like the mixture, and it seems to avoid it. Whether that is a like it chooses to avoid it, or whether it's like it just simply cannot touch it, that is unknown to you. All you know that is that at the very least, some kind of choice was made by the blight that essentially allowed it to willingly take on some kind of injury, so to say, to break up the path, even though it did cost it harm.
Temporary suffering for
Okay.
permanent
Long-term.
results.
We also
Yes.
watched the creature destroy itself to blight us.
Correct.
Yes.
You did see a blighted creature also essentially actively choose to undergo an effect that, well, yes, blighted you all also destroyed itself.
So we've talked a little bit about how the blight, at least in Kai's experience, which I think he relayed to Valdov, it seems to, or seemed to at one point, have some kind of intelligence to be able to outsmart safety measures. And we've seen it behaving intelligently by destroying the path. So would Valdov have in her research, when she put samples together to see how they interacted, seen that it worked to confuse her? In a way where maybe behavior patterns that she had thought were consistent enough to note down change?
I would say that it's hard to recollect that information, like those small details without your notes, but you do know that there was patterns to the way the blight acted when it was separated in the vials you held, but it never seemed to try and like outwit you or change its patterns to get around you. At least not that you could tell in those small samples. Now it is hard to tell because those samples are essentially just locked in an empty jar, so you don't know what it would have done if given space to work, but you aren't certain. You guys are talking amongst yourselves, having finished up and getting ready. The carriage is all together. Who is driving?
And Natalia, are you feeling well enough to drive today?
I mean, me.
Yes, actually, I am feeling much better. So, I can take the first round, I suppose.
What she said.
I'll say Pygmaeus can also drive.
No, it's okay.
It's light outside. You don't have a reason not to drive.
I can wait.
All right, well, I'd say we save her driving skills for nighttime because she seems to be able to see pretty far.
Oh, yes, she's got to...
Yes, it's a gift of my goddess.
Yes.
Oh, so we ought to wait for you and get you some more rest.
I just do not want to be driving the carriage for any more amount of time.
All right, well,
Right,
then.
well, if that's the case, then... And Pygmaeus reaches over his head. Takes it off. And as he takes it off, the way his transformation looks like from between human to orangutan is almost like the hair grows out of his face and his lips protrude. And he shrinks down and the clothes are a bit baggy on him. And you just see him kind of like in a very monkey way, just kind of clamber over the back of the cargo into the front seat. And then he leans into the horse and says, "What up?"
All right. Well, maybe
Of course,
I
to
spoke
y'all,
too soon.
what it sounds like is. But
Just
of course, because he's how he is. Yeah,
You know how it
Like, yo, it's that way, all right. And the horse gives up.
Give me an
Back.
animal handling check with advantage, but you have disadvantage, so it evens out to 1.
Next, you've blight 1.
You could have just said with no advantage. Just say that.
He's pissed. Is that what I think it is?
It's not in that one.
Okay, it's not that one.
Hold on, let me whip out my calc real quick.
Sure, for calculator.
There's no way I'm doing this math.
You knew
fast
that? I didn't know you knew that.
guys.
Yeah.
I actually have a secret calc.
I thought it was
in
kind of
my
niche.
brain.
Not gonna lie.
You have a
3
calculator
plus
under the
4.
table?
It's 7.
7. Well, with a 7, nothing goes horribly wrong, especially because Ari was tending to them last night. The horses are feeling in much better condition. They're feeling much better rested, and to some degree, more respected. And so, while you did not roll very high, the horses definitely are taking it a little bit easier than you may have wished. Like, they are definitely still waking up and are not like immediately jumping to it. Nothing breaks, nothing goes wrong. You all will be a little bit slowed down, and you can definitely tell that the horses are not being as cautious, as you're not necessarily holding reins. You're more so trying to guide them.
They were still a bit offended with the word I misunderstood to be.
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of
Yeah.
reeled it back.
Isn't really great.
You do manage to have them take off, though. After a bit of travel, not very long at all, maybe an hour at most, the sun kind of finally comes up fully over the horizon, making it fully day at this point. It is no longer dawn with that orangish color. You do see the blue sky above, though there is a bit of clouds rolling in from the north that are just making it a little bit shadier. The veins of blight that are nearby do still extend in almost every direction, covering the various parts of the ground that are exposed to the air. You can even see that some of them kind of break their way into the dirt before re-emerging just a few feet later, almost like they've burrowed themselves into the very ground that they sit on. The area around you as you're traveling is just these lightly rolling hills, not very much elevation. The cart has no trouble, but you can definitely see that with the ups and downs, more and less of the view that you guys have kind of vanishes and reappears. The grass around you comes to, for most of you, knee length or so. It's just tall enough to sway gently in the breeze or what is left of it. As you can see, even though the blades of grass are very thin along them, where those like light green lines normally are that show that they're centers, it has a slight brownish purple tint to it, indicating that while not overtaken, there is no material to necessarily wrap around. They still hold aspects of the blight just like everything else in the region. No blade of grass, no bug, no speck of life has been left untouched by this thing. Did you have something to say?
No.
Oh, sorry, no.
Hypothetically, if someone wanted to cut a piece of the blight root off and eat it, hypothetically, what would happen?
Hypothetically,
you
someone have
jumped
to find
straight
out.
to 6.
Hypothetically,
Can I
you'd be
just do a
rolling some
hypothetical
saves.
roll and
No.
like an investigation?
Do
or...
it after the show.
Very true.
After this
Yeah, let's say now, I will say, most people are smart enough to not eat the blight, but you can only assume that it would make it far worse. Most people. Now,
Would Arya know what happens if someone consumes the blight?
yes. So you're kind of looking out at.
Interesting lore.
You're looking out at this, and you know that most people would not be very privy to eating the blight, but you can only assume that it gives you a fast track towards the end of your life.
Flavor Town.
Kind of.
If it already crawls,
You ain't coming back.
Yeah.
if it already crawls through things, giving it your entire digestive tract to crawl through seems like a bad idea.
That's very
horrifying.
true. Oh yeah. No, it's
Already.
very true.
Are you saying this? Is Pygmaeus like pondering this out loud, or is this just a thought in your head?
Yeah, no. Pygmaeus was he was just wondering. He was just, Hypothetically, if one were to eat it, I'd imagine that it would be not a good idea because then it would crawl through your digestive systems and your intestines. And
Well, that's
but
assuming
don't you either of you think about that?
I will say, Arya, I was going to have her walking next to the horses,
Yes.
just once again to show her camaraderie.
Yes.
And upon hearing that,
So you have seen it.
yes.
You've unfortunately been witness to the effects of actively consuming blight. It is not pretty. It is pretty gruesome in the way it's different than it just kind of coming into contact with you. In the times you've seen, and maybe not directly, but the times that you've kind of known about people eating blight, typically what happens is that just very shortly after consumption, I mean, maybe an hour at the long end, they kind of start to go kind of mad. Like you watch them kind of slowly like lose that light behind their eyes, and they start kind of moving in strange manners and speaking in weird tongues. And then at some point, as they're kind of trying to like convey something seemingly, you can see that the blight kind of, in a way that is very graphic and I will not fully describe, the typical systems of the body that keep you running, the cardiovascular system, veins of the body, as well as various organs, especially having known what happens to bodies sometimes afterwards, are almost replaced by the blight. It kind of takes them over and uses them for its own purposes. And so, in a way, a person's body is turned against them.
Yeah. So like when normal blight is an outside to the in, like crawling in, this is the blight crawling out from within this person.
Kind of.
Okay.
It's like, that's a good example. It's so normally when you see blight, or at least now that you've seen it out in the wild, it's like something puppeteering a creature on strings. When someone consumes it, it's like a puppet that someone has their hand in moving their mouth.
I see.
Assuming Pygmaeus said that out loud.
Yes.
No, assuming he did. And assuming Arya heard it,
Yes.
if she did, would she say anything in return to that?
I'm getting to that.
Yeah, we'll get there. So yes, Pygmaeus
I'm so
does say it
sorry.
out loud, and Arya does
Yeah.
hear it.
Pygmaeus says it out loud, and she goes, "That's a silly question."
I don't think it's very silly. I think it's actually quite. Sorry, wait. I think it's quite reasonable to imagine that someone was like, "Oh, corn on the cob."
The glasses get me every time.
Well, of course, people consume the blight.
What?
That's, but it's different when someone chooses to undergo that process rather than
In a good way, or
no.
Is there a good way to getting your body taken over?
I don't know. She says that it's a different process, so I'd imagine that if should one have to be taken over versus taking, perhaps if it is sentient as we believe it to be, maybe it knows and it chooses to bestow a kind of gift.
I mean, if you put your arm out for a mosquito and it bites you, it's not any less mean about it.
It would be less annoying, I'd assume.
The only thing that I have seen is that it's more of a, instead of starting at your body and like making you feel tired and all of that, it's it deteriorates the mind and then slowly goes through everything else.
Oh my gosh. This is the real reason he
In
does
his
it.
Perhaps
hand,
it
he
is-
opens his journal and starts writing what you were saying.
Perhaps it is easier, but simply because once you go mad, you are no longer feeling the stress of being someone who has the curse.
Now, you say that you know this. How?
That's not as important. Would you tell me what like how? Would you mind describing that, like what that looks like, that process? If that's okay with you.
it wasn't one that people often undertook. But it's kind of like a... If somebody is playing with a doll, right? That is what normal blight is like. If somebody has a sock puppet, that is what
I see.
consuming the blight is like.
Now, I'm assuming an et al. In the publication is all right with you.
Please do not use my name.
Yeah, so,
Well, yes,
so
and
it all is fine.
Et al. Don't worry about it.
Your name wouldn't be on it. We just acknowledge that you existed.
Yes, and of course,
But not by name.
no royalties will be given to you.
Yeah. Also, you won't make any money off our paper.
Not that we make
that
any
we-
money.
Artists say there, both researchers like, so we have to get grants, and
Well, you know, the grants have been kind of lowered a little bit. It's the side of the.
We do it for the love of it, but
Yeah,
also
you know
I
how
hate
it
this.
this
Love the
conversation,
game. Love the game.
this is a conversation that is happening as you guys are on the path towards Elredd. It is not far beyond Safeton that you guys see a section of the Welkwood that is up ahead. That is like another large, kind of vast section of forest that lies on your path. Now, interestingly enough, you can see that the sand path kind of splits in two here, to where one can either go a little bit into the Welkwood, like just barely into the actual forest, and the other path takes you kind of nearer to the coast. Both, at least from the map, seem like they would take about the same time. It is more so just about the path that you all wish to take. Would you all rather go a little bit into the forest here? Now, it's not very deep. If you look at the actual map, the Welkwood is mostly off to the side, and the path kind of just barely cuts through that easternmost section. Or the other side kind of just takes you barely around it, almost near Fax.
Facts. So when you say woods, do you mean woods, or do you mean blighted woods?
Blighted
they're all
woods.
blighted woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Welkwood.
Blighted Woods or the Blighted Bay?
The Welkwoods is just the name of the forest.
I still say we stick closer to the woods. I'm not going to lie to you. I have more experience with land-dwelling... Well, I guess I have more experience with land-dwelling blight and with land-dwelling fae, and I can tell you they are almost always nicer than the stories you get about the sea-dwelling variants of both of those.
Damn. You said we're following this trail of sand.
Yeah.
Did it end or does it diverge?
It diverges. So there are essentially two paths laid out.
Interesting. I wonder why it diverged.
Do we want to meet the sea horrors, or do we want to deal with the horrors we know?
Well,
Well, you know, adversity is an opportunity for change.
Well, Finn did say that the
20 years
Woolly
of
Bay
change.
is particularly bad around this time, and being on the coast of it probably isn't any better.
I would personally say that I would like to stray as far away from the coast as possible, just because of all the things that I have stepped on, a fresh blighted seaweed is my least favorite.
Well, we should ask the seaman over here.
Pygmaeus, if you ever wish to experiment personally what it feels like to eat a blighted creature, I will willingly oblige.
I don't like the sound of that. What did you mean? What did you mean? What
Are you
could
offering to be eaten? I'm confused. Anyway, should
Are
we
you
go
going to-
near the sea or through the woods?
Are you going to eat me? Or?
No, let's not find out.
So-
Sea or woods?
Seer Woods.
Yes, I believe you have better answers.
More, the better way to put it is coast or woods.
The main issue with the sea is that once you are far enough away, it is essentially a desert where life isn't as commonplace. But should anything happen, should any issues or any harm befall us, there is no escape.
Well, we're not going in the water, we're just walking
That's
along
what
the
I was
coast.
about to add. The coast is where all or a lot of living things eventually end up on, especially when they are blighted.
DM,
Bodies
That's
float.
what I was talking
from
about.
the map
with
that I've
seaweed.
drawn and the map that was on there, our path shouldn't take us to the coast.
That's okay.
We're
so
talking about the lake that's.
that
Here?
is the coast. That is the bay of the sea.
Oh, I see now.
Yes,
Oh,
Woolly
whoopsies.
Bay.
Okay. All right. so-
Congrats on learning how to read.
Yeah, that's the thing is the water
So
currents.
man.
They push everything
Sorry,
up to
that
the
was
coast, so we're more likely to find something. And we already know that the dead. I won't
not
say they come
dead.
back. They don't. It's not like they don't stay dead, but they do get puppeted like marionettes, and they whooped our ass. So
yeah, Natalia, you kind of muttered under your breath, but that is correct. They are not undead.
I'd really rather not find out. Anyway, I have other questions. Did you ever see a selkie?
A what?
A selkie?
I've dated one.
You have to tell me everything about that.
Damn.
As you two begin to kind of converse
And
about your
we go
previous
down the
romantic
woods.
life, you guys continue traveling towards the Welkwood, knowing that you should only barely have to pass through it, but not really venture into it, hopefully. The path continues on, and you see that the two roads of sand diverge, the one going further off into the distance towards the east, towards the coast, that eventually fades from view, and the other that you guys stay on going towards the Welkwood. The one that goes towards the Welkwood, as it continues, it doesn't widen again. It kind of stays at that solid 8-foot spacing, but noticeably, especially for those who are in the front of the carriage or who are paying attention to it, you can tell just barely that it thins out just a little, to the point where, like, if you were to get stuck or something and like rotate your wheels a couple times, you would probably kick up enough sand to hit dirt. So while it's not a problem as long as you guys are traveling, stopping now and collecting any amount of sand would risk disrupting the path. So, I mean, you already have a good amount as is, as you kind of have this bucket that you have with
We're
you.
like 40 pounds plus vials, and we have the recipe to make more.
You have 3 vials and 1 vial of it contained, where you can like hold in a pocket, and that bucket is something you kind of have to carry along with you, or
Did you
have
do
your
bucket or
mule
basket?
carry.
It's a bucket.
Okay.
Considering
hold it better.
the thinning of the sand is not something Arya would typically notice, would she notice simply because she's
'Cause
stepping
you're
barefoot on
barefoot
it?
on it, you can kind of feel like when you step in sand, you can kind of feel it shift a little. And when you feel it shift, there are certain spots where it's thin enough to where even just that slight shift lets you like feel actual dirt under your feet. And that's how you notice that it's like not thinned out to like paper thin the whole way, but there are like spots of it where clearly not as much was laid, or it was blown away, or something of that nature. As you guys are moving, you eventually get close to the Welkwood, and you can see it is a very similar site to the Gnarly Forest, but somehow even worse.
Oh.
It's to the point where trees, the veins of the blight are not running up their bark. They've completely encased them. Some trees are still mostly visible as the original vegetation they were, but others have been completely overtaken and consumed to the point where their leaves have completely fallen to the ground and at some point been blown away, leaving just branches bare in the air. There's still a level of like bushes and vegetation that indicates that this is still a forest. There is still life teeming around you, though it is clearly much worse off than even the Gnarly Forest was just a day ago. As you guys travel and the path moves through this area, you can actually see that here in this section of the Welkwood, there is a part of the path that even as it thins, the blight is pushed away from it to the point where you guys can almost see that because it is so strong here and because it is so thick, it attempts to go towards it. And previously you just saw like little tendrils kind of scoot out of the way. You see whole vines of blight like wrap in and then move away thick enough to where you can fully see their curvature on display. So moving through, you guys eventually get to the point where you guys are confident that you'll make it most of the way through the Welkwood without any problems, though passing through this such a bad area of blight with the air around you so tinged with the curse. I do need a blight save from everyone.
Of course.
So for you, it is a dex save because you are still on 2. For Arya, it is con. For anyone at 0, it is a con. For anyone at 1, it is strength. 0 to 1 con, 1 to 2 strength, 2 to 3, which is just you. It is dex.
We still have that vial of.
Oh no!
You do still have that 1 vial that grants you advantage.
Dude, I can't catch up.
Oh, grants you advantage.
It does not immediately cure it. What it does is on the next blight save you make, it grants you advantage. You have 1 vial of that, which is a one-time use.
So you can only
You drink.
presumably bring it down 1 level.
So it doesn't let you make a save to reduce it. What it does is you drink it, and then the next save you make, it gives you advantage on it.
Can I figure out what it's made of by
Sure.
smelling it?
Smelling it, maybe not so much. If you can give me an alchemy check, which is, are you proficient in alchemist supplies? I don't believe you are, so it should be a d20 plus your intelligence.
Hold on. Let's not make any hasty assumptions.
Hasty
here.
calls. While he's figuring that out, Kai, what'd you get?
Let's see. Let's.
I haven't rolled yet. I'm still scared.
No, but I do have an herbalist.
I say that's fine. Yeah, you can do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
D20 plus intelligence plus your proficiency, because you're proficient in
D20.
herbalism kit.
Plus intelligence.
23.
23. That definitely saves.
Finally.
As you maintain your level 2 of blight, you're passing through. Having already been dealing with this, you kind of really focus in on pushing that energy away. And especially after everything last night, you really don't want to get any worse.
I really don't want to smell sage anymore.
So,
I'm done with that.
Arya? Oh no.
15.
It fails.
Zam.
You could flash of genius.
Hold on, I'll wait until everyone else. What did you guys get?
I'm gonna roll the red for the blight save, and I'm gonna roll this clear one for
The herbalism check?
the herbalism
Sure,
check.
go ahead. And then Valdove and Hollywood, you guys got in your saves?
You first.
Oh my god.
I got a 6.
That fails.
I got an 18.
That succeeds.
Okay, I'm giving it to her.
So,
My savior.
you unfortunately go back to blight level 1.
Yeah.
You know, you had that rest, you had the reprieve, and that morning you were feeling good and well rested. And now, as you re-enter the Welkwood, or as you enter the Welkwood and kind of re-enter the blighted areas that are truly overtaken, it all settles back into you. And with an 18, you save. Arya, you are, as you're walking on the ground here, the sand thinning to the point where you can feel the dirt beneath you, even just inches closer to the blight. You are feeling that energy kind of finally bear down on you. Before, how does Kai help?
Kai.
Wait! I got a 14.
Now he has a choice to make.
God.
He would go from 1 to 2, Arya would go to 0 to 1. But Arya has also been the one doing the most physical work.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, so I would go from normal rolls to
Listen,
disadvantage on
I'm just a cute little
everything.
monkey guy, you know?
1
Can
to
remove
2?
curse you.
1 to 2 is
Just saying.
That bad.
Because you guys have already encountered it pretty consistently, 1 to 2 is the loss of current and max HP.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you know,
worst.
it is what it, you know. I'm just a little guy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you
I
imagine
think
Big Mass?
Kai. I think Kai will give it to Arya just because of the utilitarian aspect, like the pragmatic aspect of she's the one who's going to be
okay, I
in
got
contact with it the most.
Yes.
She'll need it the most. And also because he is a little annoyed that Pygmaeus has been an orangutan this whole time. I never told him. And so,
Fair enough.
yeah.
I'm imagining like Arya was kind of like as walking through the forest, kind of like losing herself in some of the old teachings that she was taught, and kind of like as she feels the presence like bearing down on her, just like almost
Yeah.
giving in
I think
on instinct.
what happened with the Flash of Genius is that Kai calls upon the spirits of long lost ancestors of yours, and you feel a gentle, almost like parental warmth that I don't know if Arya have ever felt.
She hasn't.
And so like this warmth is so like
It's a very unfamiliar feeling that you're
Yeah.
describing right now.
this warmth is so unfamiliar and so, but it's like it's so all-encompassing and so welcoming that the feeling of trying to give in immediately gets pushed back, and you do not take a level
You
of
do
blight.
not take a level blight. Pygmaeus, you lucked out. You only lose 5 current and max HP.
See, I made the right choice.
because you went from 1 to 2.
But it was 8 last time.
It
Yeah,
is
but
not
it's
the
a
same
dice
every
roll.
time.
Dice roll.
It is a dice roll.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You lose only 5 current and max HP.
Or Valdov, who has already started up her pipe this time at the back.
Did you not notice that you and like Dewa had different numbers? Because he lost like 10,
I lost 13.
13.
Yeah.
Who decided this?
The
dice.
DM.
There's no one behind you, my guy.
Oh,
The
Valdov,
backdrop decided it.
Yes.
Valdov kind of, whenever she notices that Pygmaeus is, getting weaker with his level of blight, is going to try and cast Remove Curse again, but I want to know first whether she would know to cast this at 3rd or a higher level. Because higher level just kind of removed the 3rd level of blight. But this is a lower level of blight that she's going to catch. So,
I will say, based off of your research and based off of everything here, can you give me an Arcana check? Now, you will automatically get some information just based off of your backstory here. The Arcana check is to gain extra information.
Okay.
1 second.
I wanted to make sure I knew what number I had. That's an 18.
Pretty good. An 18 tells you that the spell slot they used, the 4th level spell slot to cure his 3rd level of blight, was effective but barely. And you can tell that as the blight kind of congregates and gets stronger, it becomes harder to push away. And so that high level magic was required. When it's not so bad, a lower level magic can cure it. And with an 18, to give you a bit of a hint here, as long as the spell slot is higher level than the current level of blight, then it works. So a 3rd level works on a level 2, and a 4th level works on a level 3.
Okay.
I also, just because this is really funny
And
to
this
me
is,
in particular.
in world, this is Valdov kind of figuring out the levels of magic and how they compare to the levels of blight.
Because this is really funny to me in particular, I imagine like the comforting warmth that Kai sends out to Arya, and then her face just twists in confusion. She's like, "What is this? What's happening?"
A warm hug? What the hell?
Loving parents. What?
Oh, that's actually a lot darker. Never mind. I was gonna reference a thing I had happen in my family, but then that is.
We'll go skip past that.
Wait, nope. Okay.
So, Nawak, you had something?
Yes, for the herbalism check. So you said it's an intelligence plus proficiency bonus. So I rolled a 3 plus 3 for my proficiency bonus, which is makes it a 6. Sorry, I almost had to whip out the calc for that one. With my intelligence modifier, it is a +1. So a total of 7. Can we just say that as I'm trying to taste it, oops, a little rock bumped the cart and I swallow the whole thing?
You'd first have to take it from Natalia, because Natalia has
is the one that has it.
Yeah.
Wait, what was I rolling then?
Because you could ask Natalia, like, hold up, and you can, like, look over it and kind of, like, test it, but
She's
unless...
not gonna let you drink it.
Yeah, Natalia would be right...
Now that she knows, yeah, of
Yeah,
course. she's not
Natalia
gonna
would
let me
be,
do it.
like, next to you the whole time.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on.
I thought he was asking to look at it, and Natalia'd be like, here, we're going to look at
No,
it.
hold on. We have to. Natalia, my dear. I'm driving with my feet and journal in hand. Can you hand me the vial? I'm trying to figure out the recipe of this thing. I'm trying to see.
Bagusti, go next to him. If he tries anything, take it from him.
What is this?
You can't hear it because it's
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I would say, real quick, for the sake of fairness, I'm not going to let you drink that unless
Whoa,
people
I
are
never
good.
said I was going to drink it. I'm just saying what would have happened. You know, you're the DM. You can decide what happens.
okay,
Rock
okay.
comes in the way.
The answer is
Oh,
no.
rock. Anyway, you looking at it with a 7.
Yeah. Natalia would come up to the front and hold it out.
I was going to
like,
dip my
we
tongue in
would-
it. I'm assuming no one would mind.
Yeah, we would all.
I wouldn't open it unless we're going to use it.
You ever seen a orangutan's tongue? It's so cute.
Either way, Look
When
at
you
what this-
talk about opening it, Natalia would kind of back away. I wouldn't open it unless we're going to use it.
Well, I must figure out the composition of this. Should we want to make more?
I don't think we can make more. I think if
look
it was
at it,
easy to do,
Nawaf.
he would have given us more.
and with a 7, it is impossible to tell what is here, especially because not only is it contained, but it is not like a liquid that is like glowing or shiny. It has like clearly magical bits in it that have a little bit of light to them, but it's not like yelling what it is essentially. The actual main base of it, if I remember properly, I'm not thinking of the wrong potion, is like a kind of gray, silvery base with streaks of this kind of bluish, like almost not light, but like blue streaks that run through it. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong. The continuity.
I'm just looking at it. I believe it's made of lead and silver and maybe a little lapis lazuli, but I could only be so sure if I were to taste it. Who knows?
Pygmaeus, how long has it been since you've ever made a potion?
I make potions all the time.
How often do they work?
I make banana and vanilla ice cream potions.
All right.
I make banana and blueberry.
I'm just checking my notes on
strawberry
session
potions.
1. That does seem to be the correct
Okay,
potion,
thank
so
God.
don't worry.
Okay, so
Hoping I didn't share the continuity.
when he gets the blight, do we want to roleplay that so that I can figure out how Valdov notices?
I mean, didn't you say that you start coughing blood?
You do start coughing. Now, it doesn't mean you're like immediately hacking up blood, but it's
Right.
more so like you kind of like,
Yeah.
and then when you kind of like run your finger across your mouth, or if you were to like actually cough into your hand, there would be like, it's not like you're like pouring blood, it's more like little droplets
Yeah.
mixed in with your spit.
I got bronchitis.
Not like that.
But I'm assuming that we all feel this at the same time,
It's more
and
so
it's a drastic difference.
It is like when you get into the Welkwood beyond a certain point, you kind of feel the energy shift in the air. And the similar feeling to the Gnarly Forest, it's almost like a vacuum sucked out all of the energy from the space.
Can I do a fun little flavor thing? Make a nature check to see if I notice?
Sure, go ahead.
Because of the way that I want to flavor this.
Yeah, go ahead. What'd you get?
Oh, this is 17, actually. I forgot
pretty-
that I have really good nature.
Pretty good.
So I'm going to say that Valdov is sitting in the back because people have complained about her smoking before. So she's sitting in the back smoking because she's
Smoking out the back of the
just
carriage.
smoking in the carriage. Trying not to bother anybody, but it is like a comfort thing. Even if she can't really cast magic right now, it is important to her that she still has the ability. And just holding the pipe isn't the same as having it working.
Yeah.
And then sitting, with her head out the side, when Pygmaeus coughs, her nose is pretty much always overactive. She is a jackrabbit, a hare. So it's always on 11.
Mm-hmm.
And she catches wind of just the faintest hint of what smells like copper.
Mm-hmm.
Off of, well, assumingly Pygmaeus' breath after he coughs. And she whips around
Mm-hmm.
and is casting Remove Curse.
Okay.
She's like, stop writing me things we can't say on the podcast. she
we wouldn't
whips
say
around
that.
and goes, Pygmaeus, you all right? How you feeling, bud?
My bad. I'm feeling quite grand with his feet on the reins and the journal. He's still trying to figure out what's going on. He does feel a sudden difference in his body, almost like when you're sitting down and it's just suddenly like your stomach really hurts or your chest is really tight.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, but, well, I don't know. Ever since we crossed this threshold, something just.
Immediately after he says, I don't know, she casts Remove Curse by blowing smoke directly in his face. And as opposed to normal non-magical
Damn!
smoke,
What you geeking on
it
back
doesn't
there?
it doesn't spread to everyone else. It is very much a line that then
Yeah.
encapsulates him and takes the curse.
So you lose that second level of blight, so you
Ta-da.
regain your max HP.
Hey, what was
Kai.
that? Bubblegum cotton candy?
Kai, having been sitting with level 2 for a while, and with your passive investigation, you notice something that previously went unnoticed.
Okay.
Looking at your body, looking at the ground, kind of out of the periphery of your vision, is something you noticed faintly before, but it's really starting to kind of be noticeable now, especially, I'll get to it in a moment. You notice those faint runes almost like kind of on your body, especially around joints, elbows. You kind of like, when you look down, you almost see them a bit on your collar. It's not like they are imprinted onto your skin. It's more so like when you use illusory magic, it kind of hovers maybe a millimeter off the surface. It is similar to that. Now, it doesn't look like illusory magic, but you can notice the runes very faintly there. When Valdove casts Remove Curse, even though it is not in your direction, you see them kind of like almost rotate and shift. And what you notice is, especially with a passive perception that is not bad with the 13, looking out around you at the area that you're in, the massively overgrown blight that has overtaken the Welkwood, when Remove Curse is cast, you notice that the force actually shifts, like sections of blight that were like barely moving kind of like and relocate, and you just get this feeling in the back of your head like something has taken notice.
Yeah, I think Kai is going to...
I will add though, is not taking notice in the same way of like, oh, magic. Like you've seen that before so far with how the blight is interacted.
Yeah.
It is taking notice in a new way.
Yeah.
Fun.
I think Kai, he wonders for a second if he should say it out loud, because there's this old belief among sailors and pirates that speaking into existence things you don't want to happen leads to that thing happening. So he waits for a second and then he goes around to Valdove and goes, have you noticed what happens whenever you do that?
When I do magic, or...
That's whatever you did right now.
So I have a passive perception of 14 and a passive investigation of 17. Would I have noticed?
What's your passive insight?
Passive insight. 11.
The passive investigation gets you something. Passive insight being a little bit lower definitely hurts, but the only thing I'll say is this. You guys are traveling, and the Welkwood you are not in for long. This is kind of your only interaction you really have here. The biggest difference that you notice between now and before, when you cast magic, it definitely took note, but it took note when anyone casted magic. You just casted the highest level spell previously, and that's kind of what it seemed like, the biggest literal magic. But you've cast Remove Curse at 3rd. It's the same level as Fireball. And the way that you're noticing and take interest and the way your passive investigation is picking it up is that the ways that in which the blight is interacting with this is very different. When you cast Fireball, it was more like it was made aware of something. When you just cast Remove Curse, even though they're the same level of spell, even though they're both magic from the same spellcaster, it was simply just more interested in Remove Curse. It was far more compelled by it.
Okay, let me finish writing this.
Yeah. And I will say at this point, as you guys are having this conversation and the carriage is moving, you guys kind of start seeing the Welkwood break a little bit in your future path. You guys aren't traveling through it for very long. It's just maybe about an hour or so actually moving through, and you guys are very cautious, very careful with your passive perceptions. You're keeping an eye out as much as you can. Nothing befalls you here except for the just energy that the blight brings to the area and the way it interacts with you all. As that conversation is happening, you guys start to exit out of the Welkwood, leaving the gnarly trees behind that have been kind of overtaken and rotted by the curse that has set upon them.
I mean, I didn't the first time, it was highest level magic I can cast. I thought that was what was attracting it. I mean, it reacted to any magic. This time, it barely reacted when I cast that fireball, but this time, reacted quite a
I
bit.
fear that you are painting a target on your back whenever you attempt to mitigate whatever it is.
Well,
And then I also try to look at my veins again, and I go, do any of you see this?
do we? I feel like she would have noticed runes.
None of y'all's passive perception, with the exception of maybe Natalia, is high enough or actually Pygmaeus and Natalia, is high enough to really spot them. They are very faint, almost ghostly to some degree.
Yeah.
And so even though y'all's passive perception is very high, you wouldn't have really noticed them on his body, especially considering the fact that you're tired and exhausted from the blight. When he directly points them out, though, you can, like, if you squint for it, see them. You make out runes, and immediately, as a wizard, know, like, oh, those are arcane, those aren't gibberish, that is arcane runes.
Ooh. Oh.
Can you give me an arcana check?
Yes, I can.
And I will say, because you are a wizard, give it to me at advantage.
Yes.
No, it does get canceled out because of the poison blight.
Can
Or
I-
are you at 0?
No, I'm at 0.
Oh, yeah,
Can I
forgot.
assist in this?
She already has advantage. You can't stack advantage.
Give me the calc.
Give me the calc.
Because
We're adding a single digit and a double digit number.
How'd you know that that's what it's
Yeah,
for?
but the single digit
I
and
thought it
double
was just
digit
an
numbers are
five
19 and
plus
7s for a
5.
26.
26.
You just do 10
Goddamn.
plus 7 minus 1.
Yeah, spit out the lore. Come on. Come on.
But Cal,
Wrap it up.
My goddamn lore, goddamn it. So, looking at these very faint runes on Kai's bodies, especially, well, the first thing you notice is that they're around the joints. Now, magically speaking, the human body has certain parts of it that are more closely connected to the act of magic. You often think hands. That's what is often used for somatic components. For, like, Pygmaeus, for example, you can use your feet because they are so dexterous. But the idea of, like, limbs or appendages are often tied with magic because of somatic components, things that you need to physically move around and manipulate with your hands. And so there's this idea in magic that joints, the parts that can bend, the parts that can move and manipulate, are the key. Now, that's just something of an old theory and not really a practical use of magic, but you've heard it before in, like, one of your intro to magic classes, of the idea of, like, make sure your joints are always free and taken care of so you can cast. If your fingers are tied, you can't use somatic components. If your hands are balled up, you can't use somatic components, etc., etc. Now, the elbow is weird. You do have to sometimes move your whole arm at the shoulders and the elbows to cast, but for the most part, people mostly use their fingertips. But the idea of joints being important is there. When you actually look at the runes, though, the ghostliness of them all is making it a little harder to decipher, but with a goddamn 26.
Which could have been a 27 with a natural 20, but I rolled a 19. So you're
Pretty good.
welcome.
With a 26, you're looking over them, and you decipher two things. The first and most obvious is that in magic, and specifically sigil writing, there is almost a language to how spells are put down. Different schools of magic have different patterns to them. Evocation is often very sharp and big and explosive in that degree, whereas something like transmutation is often very intricate and tiny and has a lot of small parts going into it. What you're looking at is broad strokes with interconnected lines that form very strong shapes, for lack of a better term, like triangles and spheres, these shapes that are hard to break. What you're looking at are symbols of abjuration.
That's what I was going to guess.
As you're looking at these,
Damn, what's abjuration?
abjuration is a school of magic most often associated with, like, protection and healing. It's often also like the shield spell falls under it. I think there are a few damage
It's an
spells.
interesting one for a curse.
Yeah, damage spells typically don't fall under, but I think there are one or two. But also, abjuration is a school of, like, I think clairvoyance. Oh no, that might be divination.
That would probably be
then
divination.
Funny enough, you also, mixed among the runes, just find one or two divination runes.
Oh. This is
As
making some of my theories come together.
as you are looking at that is the first thing you notice. The second is that even though Kai can't really tell or see it, the way that these runes are laid out indicate that they are. You know what? Here's a good example. You like Glyph of Warding. Glyph of Warding is one of those spells that when the sigil is set, it does not go off, it does not do anything right then. It takes a trigger. It takes something specific to make it go off. Now, while these runes are not Glyph of Warding, even though Glyph of Warding is an abjuration spell, I believe, they act similarly to the way Glyph of Warding does in that they clearly need something to go off. They aren't actually doing anything on their own right now.
So they're inactive.
Yes, they're inactive runes, but still there nonetheless.
Here's my thought. This is player talk. We have divination, we have abjuration. The abjuration is clearly to protect the curse more than the curse bearer, because it doesn't particularly care about the curse bearer. It has reanimated corpses and killed people and mutilated. Doesn't care. It's to protect the blight. The divination spells are interesting because I have thought since we started the campaign, even like as he was describing his world building, that this is a way for something else to look into and explore. So the divination spells to me read as scrying spells. In fact, it could in fact be the spell scry.
With the Arcana check that high, you would have recognized if you saw the symbol for scry.
So it's magic that I'm not recognizing the spell for, probably because it's higher level than I have. But that's what it's reading as to me.
Yeah.
Alternatively, also a divination spell is things like, I think, message and sending.
I think so.
So, those are also not spells I recognized, and they are low enough level that I have them. We are in for a communication. That is what is happening. It doesn't particularly care that we receive it. Something is being communicated with. That's what that is. The abjuration, I think, is to protect it. The fact that they are set up to trigger scares Valdov, and also me, and so she is also going to cast Remove Curse on you at 3rd level.
May I ask? I think actually Kai will say this. If you recall anything about like the divination and stuff, I think Kai will ask.
She shares that with
I will
you.
also add, you've seen him get to 3rd level and nothing get triggered, so to say.
Yeah, I think he'll ask.
She's more thinking like, if as we go closer to the thing we're looking for that could cure the blight, we don't want it to set something off. We don't want it to be a proximity bomb.
Yeah.
You say that it has a trigger. What is the trigger on the abjuration ones or the divination ones?
It would be on the abjuration.
Okay, so the abjuration spells is what it would trigger, which is typically, but not always, protective type spells. Now, my fear with that is that it's not going to protect you unless, because this is clearly a parasitic thing, unless protecting you is going to protect it. I worry that it's going to, so there are certain spells that are ill-advised to cast within an environment because either they won't trigger the right way, or because they will cause mass destruction if they take up space. You'll cause destruction if you cast them into something that already exists. Now, with magic this big and evidently old, I don't think it's going to follow the rules I do. And I think that if there's curse in you, and something gets triggered that makes something take up space, I don't think it's going to care that there's you taking up that space.
May I ask if a triggering spell causes the runes to shift?
Can you, with the 26 Arcana you rolled, and based off of the way he's describing it,
Yeah, like...
you don't think that they would shift on their own. It's actually strange for sigils and glyphs to shift entirely on their own. The only thing that you can think of that would trigger that is similar magic in the area.
That is interesting.
Because I've noticed that it shifts when you cast Remove Curse. So I am a little worried that if you try to cast it on me, this thing is what's going to trigger.
She's cast on you before.
I have cast it on you before. It was fun. I just cast it at the same level that I would be casting it on Pygmaeus, and it didn't trigger yours. Did you notice something that makes you worried about that this time?
I didn't notice the shift last time, but if you wish to, we can experiment here.
Well,
Maybe
we could stop the cart real quick and I could step off.
I think that's a bad idea.
We are not stopping with sand that's in.
Yeah, I was about to say the sand is very thin at the moment. If we stop and then try to restart, we will not have a fully intact path to follow.
Right, well, can you do it at the very back?
Actually, if you don't mind, before I cast Remove Curse, I'd like to try something with one of these vials of sand. And she's going to pull one out of her pocket and hold out his arm, and while watching it, kind of pour it over those sigils and see what they do. She doesn't expect anything, but she wants to check.
As the carriage is moving and you are driving Pygmaeus with your feet, you are in the back with Kai. Pull his hand or his arm all the way out and then kind of pour some of the sand onto where you know the runes are. As you do so, you see that when the mixture hits them, I mean, obviously they are covered physically by the sand, but that does tell you that they are not like something that will always hover above the, like, they will not always hover above whatever surface they're on, they are on Kai, and the sand can physically cover them. And what you notice is as the mixture is kind of like shaken off ever so gently, where it was, the sigils are like faded or pushed to the side, and they slowly kind of come back together.
So basically, there's no reaction except that they kind of, because
They
they
like
get
kind of
covered
part.
up,
They avoid this.
they part of the Red Sea.
And then returns.
And then, are you casting Remove Curse?
Yes, I am.
So, you cast Remove Curse on Kai.
This time I don't blow anything at him. It just kind of billows out of my pipe in my mouth and moves to him and removes the sigils.
As it casts on you, go down to Blight level 1, and you also, realizing for the first time here, as you go back down, the things you heard, the things you've been kind of observing, they've been kind of lingering in the back of your head. There's this ever so faint kind of, and it finally fades as you go back down to Blight level 1.
I think Kai is going to, like, when he hears that voice, almost instinctually, when I ask if if you allow me, he'll also instinctually say what he heard in his dreams.
That is fine, yeah. So you are obviously close enough. Are you whispering this, or do you just say it?
I think I am saying it in a soft tone,
Soft
but it's
tone.
not a full whisper.
Pygmaeus, Natalia, Valdove, hell, Ari's got a 15. You all hear this, especially because you're all in a close carriage. As this is done, you see Kai kind of like steady himself, and then the spell hits him, and you see him like relax for just a second, but still kind of tense. And then you hear him say,
The road to the heavens takes more than the stones to build it.
Huh?
Oh gosh.
And then I think like Kai kind of snaps out of it. And I think Pakusti is also going to be like startled a little.
yeah. You see kind of like,
What are you talking about, kid?
Sorry, just a dream that I had.
You had a dream?
Do tell.
I'd like to know more about this, because listen.
Arya slows down and comes to the back
as
of
you
the
guys are
cart.
discussing this, the carriage is still moving. You made it out of the Welkwood. You actually start passing by the remnants of Fax and Bad Wall that are nearby you. Both of them fell long before Safeton, and at this point are nothing more than rubble on the ground, covered by sections of the Blight and the Curse. You can see that there is not much left of them there, only memories of what was civilization in the past. They kind of stand on either side of you, not to the point, not so close that you can kind of like really see them. Your path goes closer to Bad Wall than it does Fax. And so as you guys are passing this and you start discussing your dream, the kind of air around you, not only because it is filled with this sudden interest, is empty because what was left of the people here is also gone. You had a dream.
Yeah. I think Kai will try to recall whatever he can, but as with all dreams, the logic doesn't really work. It flows in a way that, a cause and effect being like Kai doesn't really understand. So it comes across more like murmurings of things that happen and remembers. And he just sees this vision and he tries to recall it. And then midway through, he tries to recall this part of the dream, and it kind of just like this really stream of consciousness recollection.
Well, you see, I ask because as someone who studied the Fae, oftentimes if you've had a brush with something that powerful and that old, because they are old, they'll speak to you through your dreams, because, it's not that you hover between planes when you're asleep, but you certainly aren't fully attached to this one.
I might be reaching for this, right?
Perhaps you are, let's see.
But considering all of the things that Arya and her community believe, she would have had more interaction with people who have active and late-stage blight than most.
Yeah. This is going to be a little weird.
Okay.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh.
This is you back then trying to talk your way into being allowed to see this stuff despite your position in the faith.
The color shifts and we enter a flashback sequence. We see, we just see Arya exactly the same but slightly smaller.
How far back are we going?
Not that far.
Okay. I was about to say, did things change?
There's a bit of a flashback here to like you outside of a sealed door inside of the commune, the people of faith having gathered inside for, or at least the top ranking ones having gathered inside for some kind of discussion, and one posted outside that you're trying to convince to let you in.
I also imagine at like some point, like probably like 5-ish years into the Blight, people who like started getting the Blight very heavily were treated as sort of like, you know how priests are supposed to be closer to God?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
give me the persuasion check. Let's see.
Oh, please, you want to be so nices to me. It did not. That is a 7.
You aren't certain because they never let you in. After your disposition with your faith came to be, you were privy to much less information that you would have liked. They were not so kind. And in that, they did not let you have access to that kind of stuff. The top level of the faith kept their secrets as much as they could. The only thing that you kind of got was like through the door, hearing what you could, some kind of prayer, but you could never make out the words. Now, I will say, the thing that you do remember is that that prayer was said by people you know in voices you didn't. So, you all are traveling with Badwall and Fax on the other side of you, you kind of recalling this dream, and you discussing the Fae, when off in the distance, after just a few more hours of travel, you guys begin to see Elredd come into view. The reason you know it's Elredd is because unlike up to everything at this point, it's intact. There's a watchtower that is clearly well maintained. There are buildings that you see coming up on the horizon that are completed and look like they are still well taken care of. It looks like an actual city. Like, it's hard because not many of those exist anymore outside of Greyhawk. I mean, there are still small civilizations here and there. For the most part, you guys are used to either the massive, overcrowded nature of Greyhawk or the rubble, like what was left of Badwall and Fax. Here, you see what looks almost like an outpost. Not a very large area. You do see that on the kind of perimeter of it, there are collapsed buildings that have been taken by the Blight. But kind of in the middle of it all, there is a section that has been preserved, that has been safeguarded. And as you guys get closer, you see exactly why. The path continues on, and off in the distance, even though it is hard to fully make out, it's very obvious that the entirety of that center of the town sits on a layer of that sand. They have gotten enough of it, or were given enough of it, to essentially make a massive circle of it for the town that protects at least the center few buildings, at least to some degree, creating an outpost where people can rest, there can be buildings, there can be livelihoods, even if it is never as cheerful or as hopeful as it may have been in the past.
Yeah.
That is coming up on the horizon. It will only be just a handful of hours, maybe 1 or 2 before you guys fully arrive there. Is there anything you guys would like to discuss or do before you get there?
We see this from that far away, from hours away?
Not necessarily fully. You see kind of a bit on the horizon, as well as, I'm kind of cheating time a little bit here to give a description before you get there.
My bad.
Yeah, you're good.
Go
It's
off.
a little bit of D&D magic where I want
spit
you
your
guys to know before you get there.
Yeah.
Valdov.
Yeah.
I am not obviously not well versed in magic and what these things mean. What were the things that you said?
So there's different schools of magic.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was, I saw abjuration, divination magic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all I saw. I'm checking my notes.
It
I
is.
wrote it down.
Yeah.
What I do the big, big destructive crap. That's evocation.
Okay.
So that is the big explosive things. Typically, abjuration is done by people like Natalia. It's protective spells. Often used by clerics, paladins, anybody who's smart enough to protect themselves. I have a spell like that called Mage Armor, but it's not the greatest spell in circumstances like we're in. Divination magic gets a little complicated. That's seeing, hearing, observing things from a vantage that isn't your own. That's seeing into the future, into places you're not at. That's sending messages across, miles. That sending scroll we have is divination, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I see.
These are higher magic or older than I've seen, and I didn't study abjuration or divination in particular. I took intro classes to each. I try and learn as many as I can, but
Abjuration 101.
money only goes so far. I can only learn so many spells. So my head gets full. I didn't recognize those, is what I'm saying.
So is it just protection?
Not necessarily. There are, like, evocation's not just blowing crap up.
Mm-hmm.
There's other things I can do with it. Now, it is largely a defensive magic, or, offensive magic, I suppose is the word. But it's not always. Abjuration is much the same. It's often a defensive spell, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to be used defensively.
Now, I will note, there's a little bit of a weird difference here between editions of D&D, where things like healing used to be considered evocation magic, not abjuration magic. And the way I choose to explain that in the world is that it got reclassified not because the spell itself changed, but because people simply were like, you know what, the way it is cast and the way that it takes effect is closer to abjuration than it is evocation. But the reason it was originally called evocation is because evocation is less about the destruction of things, it is very destructive magic, it is more about the flow of energies. When you summon a fireball, it is not just you making a ball of fire, it is you transferring energy from the weave into a concentrated point, into the point where it literally blows up. And healing magic used to be classified that way because it was the transfer of energy from you or from the weave into another person. It's like when you expend a spell slot, you expend your own energy and then you heal someone. Now, it's been reclassified as abjuration just because healing is very protective in nature. But you at least have some idea of like abjuration magic because,
I took healing magic, lots of it.
You have some healing magic, and also things like healing used to be considered evocation.
And did I notice that some of this was healing-ish?
With the 26, you would notice that while it isn't like a cure wounds or like a healing word, abjuration magic typically falls into either healing or protectiveness. It seemed to lean more on the heal side than the protective side. Like it was closer to the runes for cure wounds than it is to something like mage armor or shield.
Right. So it's these runes in particular. Now this used to be an evocation magic, so I know more of that. Was healing at some point. It's more to do with the energy that I evoke it, I take it, I put it into one spot, and I make it do things. Abjuration magic don't work like that. Of course, this abjuration magic, healing or not, it flows a different way.
Yeah.
It's more like forcing away something bad than forcing something else to make something new.
So, as you all are discussing this, and the carriage kind of gently bumps along, Nawaf, can I get an animal handling check?
What do you mean, Pygmaeus?
Yes, Pygmaeus, in fact. Now, you do have advantage, but it is canceled by the disadvantage, so it is an even roll. As you speak quite literally to the horses that you have.
Huh?
As you literally speak to the horses.
What am I trying to do?
This is
Animal handling.
animal handling to like guide the cart.
Oh,
Yeah. This has to be done every once in a while to see if anything bad or anything bad happens, or anything goes awry.
Don't mess this up.
Jinxed it.
Yeah, what the hell, Dewa?
I think we just need to replace all of Nawaf's dice.
The 7.
No, that's the roll he got on the die.
I see. So,
+4.
oh, okay.
It's
Well, I'd say with an 8, you are a bit like touch and go with the reins, and more so than anything, it is frustrating for the horses. And you can tell they are like bit by bit working and cooperating less and less to the point where like they are about to just stop pulling. And you can feel them slow down. Not only are they tired from just doing the work and pulling a pulling a carriage full of people. He threw his dice.
That's the second one. There are 2 dice down there.
Hey, well, how many dice have you thrown?
A few. Like they do that anytime he rolls 4, he just goes.
That's exactly what's gonna fucking happen.
So
That's not gonna be me.
yeah, either way,
On the floor.
the carriage is
Trash.
also getting worse for wear. Having to drive on sand, it's uneven, and you can feel the wheels kind of like wobbling or starting to wobble from having to constantly go over uneven terrain and not being guided on a smooth path. Your carriage is getting worse and worse, even over just the 2-day journey you guys have been making, and the horses are kind of getting fed up with it.
I lean in.
Yes.
My guy. Listen, if you can make it all the way, Eldoran? Where is it?
Elredd.
Oh, my bad.
You're good.
Sorry, wrong IP. I promise I will get you a fat ass bucket full of apples.
So, I will say that is what keeps them going, even though they are frustrated. Like they are still not at their fastest pace, but they kind of slowed down to a bit of a crawl. And even you outside the carriage, walking alongside, notice the area. You're like, oh, I might have to step in. But you talk to them, make them this promise, and they kind of pick up the pace a little bit, more so than anything to be done with the job and just to get their apples.
I lied to them.
Elredd in the distance is getting closer. So unless there's anything else you all wish to discuss, we will move into that.
Not necessarily, but can I have a player's handbook? And if anybody is looking particularly at Valdov, Feywild Shard glimmers, and I'll tell you what I replace the spell with in a minute.
Okay.
Momentarily.
Okay,
So-
Ari is still asking questions at you. So the pieces of the Blight curse, they were healing magic?
I don't know that that's necessarily true. I've looked, but it would be hard for me to tell without repeated trial. And so far, Kai's the only one who's reached that level of blight that I've noticed these runes on, because he pointed them out. They're pretty hard to see without, knowing what to look for. They're in an interesting place. They're in somatic, is movement for spells, and they were on his joints. I took them away. So it could be some form of protection for him. More than likely, it's protection for the pieces of curse that are in his body, and those have somewhat culminated into the joints. And that's interesting, because there's a theory that the joints are the most important part of the body for magic casting, especially the dexterous ones, like in your hands and your arms. So if they are gathering there and protecting that, fortifying it, that's an interesting theory, because it proves that those are important to magic, at least to this blight.
That is very interesting. Mostly because if it targets the joints, then it is most definitely, obviously it is targeting magic. But the healing is what interests me.
Yep.
Simply because it makes sense.
Why does that make sense to you? She's asking this genuinely curiously, to be fair, and not like, why?
Well, it makes sense to me because, at least what I know, and being this far away from Greyhawk, I figure it is all right. The blight is not a. It is a purge.
I think Valdov is kind of racking her brain and trying to remember. She knows you, sort of, but she's trying to remember exactly why. She remembers buying body parts off of you. She also remembers that weirding you out. Because, this tiny little rabbit person hops up to you and is like, hi, I see that you've got a dead body there. Can I buy the toes? And it's a weird thing to ask.
Yeah, also because those are usually her friends. And people she knew intimately.
A weird thing. But she's trying to remember, and I don't think she knows anything about cult, so she doesn't remember. She goes, a purge, you say, and the healing magic is interesting for a purge. I agree.
It is like how you use, how you get rid of illness from the body.
Like running a fever to get rid of...
As you guys are getting closer towards Elredd, Natalia, you start noticing like these crates that are popping up along the sides of the road, what look like clearly supply crates that have been kind of opened and then discarded a little bit. The reason you notice them is not just because of your passive perception, because there's a certain last name on the side of them that you know very well.
Yay!
You all get closer at this point to Elredd, and the wind kind of whips up just a little bit, and the first thing you smell as it kind of blows from the direction of Elredd is this kind of scent of like something freshly baked or something freshly made, some kind of food product as it kind of wafts through the air. You guys are close enough at this point to start picking up on the scents that Elredd has, and it is a nice break from the either somewhat rotted smell of the forest and the kind of just blank air that you guys have been traveling in thus far. Getting close to Elredd, you guys can start seeing the multiple buildings at this point. You're not very, you're gonna pull in pretty soon. You guys are seeing the multiple buildings rise from the ground. You guys see labels on some of them. There are not many really, maybe only 4 or 5 in total. One of which is a massive watchtower that kind of rises well above the town. The first thing that you really notice, though, are the handful of people walking about. This is the first time you've seen normal humanoid people this far away from Greyhawk. Now, you knew it was an outpost and knew that you were looking for a person named Aurora here, but you weren't anticipating finding an actual small community. So to see that is a little jarring, especially after having faced so much horror on the way here. What are you all doing as you kind of pull into this area?
Arya's shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, you're saying all this and you see a few people walking, you're like, oh.
Yeah, she very quickly shuts her mouth.
Hat goes back on, and Pygmaeus turns into a human.
The Noxane crates. Please tell me those are something that Valdov notices.
Valdov would also notice those.
Yes!
You see them cracked open and thrown to the side of the road. You see them, you look over, what is Natalia looking like right now as those crates are passing by you?
Unless she saw Natalia the second that Natalia noticed it.
Probably not.
Probably not. So she would notice the Noxane crates and she would kind of her eyes would go wide, and her heart would skip a beat for a second.
Yeah.
But then afterwards she would recover very quickly, and she'd just kind of be more curious. Each time they passed one, she'd be trying to look up, try to see if she could just glean what's in them. But I mean, it's obvious that she's taken an interest in them, but more than just wondering what's inside.
Yeah, so maybe when Valdov looks over, it's not like a...
Yeah.
It's more of
She's looking at... So,
looking over them.
seeing that Natalia has taken a piqued interest
Yep.
in these, Valdov's first thought is the juiciest piece of gossip she's gotten from her sister who works in the guard in a long time. And she goes, I see you looking at them Noxane boxes. Did you know that recently someone was jailed for impersonating, well, not for impersonating, but they were jailed for, I don't know what, I wasn't paying that much attention. They were impersonating the youngest Noxane child.
The youngest? Isn't she only like 14?
A Noxane child? I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention. Some like Natalia Noxane, what she was pretending to be.
Yes,
No.
I've heard of her quite a bit since, you know. It's interesting. Well, I'm a performer, and you know, she does performance, I think. But yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right. I never once encountered her in the. I mean, I didn't go to that many charitable functions, and she's much younger than me, anyhow. But
Can Kai try to read our body language?
Give me an insight check. You may give me a deception check if you'd
Do
like.
we not know that her name is Natalia?
no, we do.
You do.
We don't know that it's Natalia Noxane.
Yeah, I will note, people don't know the child of Noxian family is Natalia. They know her by a different name. So you would not have heard of Natalia Noxane. You would have heard of Natasha Noxane.
Natasha Noxane. Okay, but she heard that someone was impersonating.
Natasha.
as a noble,
Which is what
you
she said.
might have heard her as referred to as Natalia, but
her-
her name is Natasha.
I'd like to remind you my character's 20 years older than
I
me.
know.
She
That's so
definitely would not
sad.
know.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
It's like, oh, there's some
Especially as a
shade over there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm familiar with the Russian
you may
name.
give me a deception check. Go and give me an insight.
So,
Okay, so I'm making this at disadvantage, correct?
Correct.
yeah.
But so is he.
Yeah. So without disadvantage, it would have been a nat 20. But unfortunately, it's a 13.
13's not bad.
Yeah.
But you are facing a bard.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, god dang.
Yes.
Can I do...
Does Arya know the name Noxane at all?
Maybe you would have seen it on a crate one time in your
Yeah.
whole life, so not
Okay.
really.
I was more so.
It's like you may have seen it, but you attribute nothing to it.
Yeah, I was more so wondering if it was a common name that I would hear.
However, I have silver tongue, so I can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10, which makes that a 14.
Dang.
Barely beats you.
Now, should I use Flash of Genius for this?
I really need to know. I'll say with that close of a roll, you don't really read everything from Natalia. The only thing you get is a little bit more closed offness than normal.
Yeah. I think Kai, the way that he reads this is he instead of piecing together, oh, this is probably the Noxine child, he'll go, have you also taken from the Noxine family? They are quite the prey. They're not as intelligent as they
Well, now I gotta know.
believe they are.
A sly smile would come across Natalia's face.
Thieves amongst me. I need to know if either of y'all heard of the Adkaran family and if y'all took anything from us.
So I need to know right now.
Yeah.
Natalia would kind of...
Because that's my tuition. That's the only reason I care.
Natalia would kind of...
From
At that, Natalia...
I mean,
from the what?
Adkaran family?
The what family?
At the corner of 40th and 59th?
I think yeah, Kai is absolutely lying. He absolutely has stolen from them, but he's trying to play it off as if he doesn't know who they are.
does Arya know the Adkaran family?
I think
Casual
that as the
doxing.
children are saying, I think I just got doxed. I mean, my family is a public family. We're landlords. We own half the places in town, but
Big Mace is very out of his element here. He has no idea what the hell's going on. He's just driving. Every now and then he'll glance backwards and just like, huh?
you're a performer. You don't often live in Greyhawk. How'd you know where my house was? And I'm going to roll an insight check. Because that's actually not even really common knowledge. No one has any reason
The
to know
address
that.
of a noble family.
Yeah.
It's like talking to like some rich billionaire, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you live it."
Like, sure, it's public information, but it's not common knowledge.
Go ahead and roll.
Can I roll that? Perchance at advantage because
Hell
you shouldn't. Oh, I did find the roll again. I said an insight check. That's a 5.
So with the 5, not really certain though.
Natalia would grin.
Did we hire you for a party or something?
Well, I used to perform at parties for the Bushicks across the street.
Oh yeah.
And also that beautiful fountain you have out front. I did grow up in Greyhawk, and so, you know, when we felt like it, we'd walk through the nice neighborhood and just enjoy what they had outside.
I have a fountain out front.
As you two are
Just
talking,
desperately trying to figure out what's
you guys
happening.
get to the point where you're really like at the border of the circle, and someone actually comes up to the carriage, not the other way around, as you see what looks like this halfling, as far as you can tell, or at least one of the shorter races, in basic leather armor, has some kind of sword sheath at his side. You can see has like a backpack and a couple satchels on. Clearly, like was just carrying stuff throughout the city and has kind of like dropped some of it off to come over to you all. As
But he's
you-
clearly approaching us.
He's clearly
Okay.
approaching you all.
Natalia would get out of the cart and kind of
You like move to the front.
move to meet him.
So
Hello, Mr. Man. How
as
can I
guys are
help
coming in,
you?
he walks up. You say that he kind of waves his hand. He looks towards you as you're approaching, and he kind of goes,
Can I ask what business y'all have here?
We were sent on business for a
"Lock in, Jane."
what's Finn's last name?
It is said on the flyer.
It's on the flyer, but nowhere else. His last name is Vresmer.
What?
Vresmer.
Vresmer.
We're here on business for Finn Resma.
You can see. Give me an insight check, actually.
I think also Valda is going to jump in and be like, we're researchers working for the Blight. Well,
Working for
two of
the
us
Blight.
for the Blight. Working on the flat.
Just pull it out of your backpack.
Unfortunately, that could happen. Yeah, we two are working on the Blight. We're working for the Academy on fixing the Blight.
What did you get on the insight check?
15.
15's pretty good. Looking at him, when you say the name Finn Bresmer, you notice the demeanor instantly shift. It goes from like a curiosity to a instant understanding. As he kind of goes,
Oh, you're here on business for Finn?
okay. Are you looking for someone?
Yes, he sent us to look for
Aurora.
an Aurora.
Yeah, as you kind of pop out. I thought so.
She's a scout, I believe.
Yes, quite proficient, in fact. I don't think she's in at the moment, though she should be back from a run in like an hour-ish.
That's all right.
If y'all just want to kind of wait around, I will have to kind of just do a once-over on y'all, and then on the carriage, just really being cautious.
That's all right. I'm going to go ahead and warn you. We do have some members who are currently, but being treated for it, affected by low-level blight. It's a thing they can sleep off.
Now, if you were to say that to anyone in Greyhawk, it'd be instant, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, when you said to him, his demeanor doesn't really shift, and he just kind of goes, I mean, this far out, you're bound to deal with it once or twice.
Good, because the city we came from, they'd kick me out.
I mean, can't really stop it this far away from Greyhawk.
That's true.
This man is carrying a big satchel.
He has like a
burlap.
backpack. He had like a big backpack that he still kind of has on one shoulder. He had other satchels that he set down to come talk to y'all.
So tell me, Mr. Man, why are you all the way out here? Why aren't you inside?
What do you mean inside?
Are you out here playing? Are you playing with your toys?
No, I'm moving supplies from the
Pygmaeus.
storehouse to the inn.
Pygmaeus is old, crazy, and cranky. If he says something rude, tell
Ignore
me.
him.
I will smack the shit out of him.
You don't look that old. Your hair's
Oh.
a nice bright orange.
Thank you. I've already
It's an
spoken to her.
illusion.
Do you actually say that?
Yes.
What do you say?
It's an illusion.
He just goes, as long as that illusion isn't covering more blight, we don't really care.
This is what I do. This is what I do. I take my fez off,
Yeah.
and then my face turns into a monkey, and then I put it back on. And I
It's
say,
like the full transformation can't go through, but just the face.
yeah, and then I
He
say,
kind of looks at you.
no one will believe you.
We will, and we will back you up.
He just goes, all right, I have to drop this stuff off at the end. I'm assuming y'all are heading that way. Here, let me just show you. He does look over you all. He's going to make some investigation checks.
So what have you been learning at school today?
As you all
He's just tiny.
as you are staying there, he does kind of like go to your carriage, and you see he not only looks inside it, but he like gets underneath it to check the underside. He's checking like behind the wheels everywhere, and then finally gets to y'all. And he's being very respectful. He's like, I just need y'all to like do a once around. I should make sure that you guys don't have any blight attached to you. That's all. That's all I need.
My goodness, they're really putting you to work, huh? I tell you, this child labor is
Yeah, you should
nasty
pay him.
business.
I'm 42.
My goodness.
You're 42?
My bad, Chief.
Yes, I'm 42, man.
Oh, I'm also 42.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great age.
It's
He kind of turns around and he goes, I can take y'all towards the inn. There's not really any rooms, just kind of like a central area where we gather when we need to. Here, just follow me. And he kind of like turns around. He like picks up the satchels that he was carrying, kind of throws them back over his shoulder.
Would you like to throw that on the cart while we walk?
He actually looks back and he goes, yeah, thank you. That'd be nice. And he like picks him up and he just sets him in the cart and he walks alongside, realistically you, Arya, as you are outside the cart. Yes.
While we are entering, you said that it's a very large, like, sand circle.
Essentially, you can think of it like before the sand was just like a path that was laid down.
Yeah.
There's enough sand here where it almost is like a platform.
Yeah.
Now, the buildings were not built on top of it. So like the bottom like 2 to 3 inches of the buildings are like covered by sand. And so like when you open, the doorways have kind of been cleared.
Yeah.
So you can open and close the doors. But other than that, the bottom sections of all the buildings have just been like piled sand over.
Yes. However, this is the more important part. The path going into, how is that looking? And is it a slow, gradual increase?
Like mostly normal path,
Okay.
and then not a gradual increase, more so exponential, where it like rapidly shifts outwards.
Okay.
It seems more so than anything like they were having to figure out how they want to put the sand, as there was only so much of it, and they decided to prioritize the actual town center instead of the path that came to it.
Okay. Second point.
Yes.
Arya is going to be taking very close note of the security around the town.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Shouldn't have said very. Never mind. Maybe you should have.
24.
24. It's interesting because the blight has consumed almost every building on the outer circle of the town, much like it did with Badwall or Fax. Like they're in the same condition as those towns that have been completely reduced to rubble. But here, it comes in and then just suddenly stops as it hits the sand circle. It seems like the sand here is piled so thick that nothing can get around it or get over it. And so the like sudden carnage that the blight caused comes to an end, and then there's just kind of like pristine buildings. Around those, you definitely see not necessarily I'm trying to think of a way to put this. It is not necessarily a like perimeter, but you do notice every once in a while there's like a spike in the ground that goes all the way around. Now, some of them you can't obviously see behind buildings and stuff, but there are like spikes embedded into the ground that kind of indicate some kind of perimeter that allows the residents, we'll say, of this outpost to kind of know exactly where the sand is going to stop. But you don't see guards wandering around. You don't see people in like the watchtower, like keeping a constant eye out. From the amount of people you've seen, it seems like there are not enough people to actually be on watch constantly. So let me double check something here. Yeah. So
And so before
Hey.
getting to this area, you said the path was very thin.
yes. So as you guys kind of enter inside and are guided by this person, he just kind of looks around and he goes, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Umede. You all are?
Natalia.
Talia,
Christopher.
Christopher.
Alia,
Arya.
could you spell your name?
Yes, Ummede, Umede. Y'all's names?
Pongo, Pygmaeus. Don't call me Pongo.
If you don't want me to call you that, why'd you lead with it?
He's weird and old, and we don't question things.
Pygmaeus, though.
Yeah, my name's Valda Vadkarin. You can call me either of those or neither of those. I don't care.
All right, well, Miss Adakaran, pleasure to meet all of you. It is not a far walk to this inn. The actual town center is just a handful of buildings that have been kind of surrounded by the sand, and so you only walk for about a minute or two before you actually get to this thing. It is not fancy. It is the bare minimum needed to keep this thing going, but you can clearly tell that it has been reinforced. Any extra material that they had was put into making this thing as sturdy as possible, not just so that it would vibe, like weather and stuff like that, but so that being in constant use would not wear it down. The door is kind of pushed open by this guy as he kind of moves in and then holds it open for you all. You guys are like, can disembark from the carriage, and he just kind of goes, come on in. There's not much in here, just a few tables and chairs, but somewhere to sit while you wait for Aurora.
Well, thank you very much.
I could get y'all a drink if you need any. Not gonna lie, we don't have the best selection out here. It's really just mead or water.
That is not necessary. Thank you, though.
While we wait, are there any healers or potion makers? Like we said, there's some of us that do have a low level blight.
Unfortunately, out here, we really can't ask for more than we have. Everyone out here is capable in some fashion, otherwise we wouldn't have survived this long. But most of us are only here for a short period of time. We come out here for one reason or another, and most don't stay their whole lives. It's pretty dangerous to be out here, even for just a few months. Some people come and rotate between here and Greyhawk, but for the most part, it's temporary. We currently, right now, we don't have anyone like that. Though, had you come a couple weeks ago, you might have caught her, but she's gone.
So at this point, Valdov, and she doesn't even really know why she does this.
Mm-hmm.
And she reaches into her bag, she pulls out a sprig of mistletoe, she twirls it between her fingers, and it becomes a sprig of good berries.
Mm-hmm.
And she hands it to him, and she goes, I don't know if you're gonna need this, but here you go.
He takes it and he goes, oh, thank you. Good berries, I'm
Good
assuming?
berries, yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank you so much. Yeah, that'll definitely help out. Haven't had lunch yet, so.
I'd only eat one. They'll take you for the whole day.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are the little treats that we made,
You still have them.
how much time has passed since?
Just a few hours. I would say you have a few hours left on them. Like as long as you guys don't kind of dilly-dally in Elredd the rest of the day, then realistically you could still use them today. Otherwise they'll go to waste, but you can just make more for tomorrow.
Is it something that you can eat multiples of? and
You
receive
can,
the-
but temporary hit points do not stack. So you can eat like all three of them. You're only ever going to get 3
I
temporary.
think the 3 who are blighted should eat them.
But if you think you guys are going to rest here in Elredd, you can use them now and then just make more for tomorrow.
like a long rest.
I mean, you guys have the option.
I think we should.
Not only
For
did
some of us who are invited.
not only did the letter say so, but Finn also emphasized that this would kind of be your last real shot to do so. As you all wait there, or as you all are in there sitting down at the tables, Umede kind of looks at you and goes, I do have to finish up the supply run real quick. I'll be right back. I'll let the others know you're here in case y'all need anything. Otherwise, I'm not going far. So, yeah. Of course, we try and do our best to those who have made it this far. So he kind of like picks up his stuff, goes to the door. He doesn't shut it, as you guys are obviously inside. But as he's walking away, you do see him like reaching to a bag and pulling out a few things that he's counting over. And then he's heading in the direction, not towards the path, but just off in one of the directions, seemingly towards like a blighted area. And you see him like unsheath a sword.
Ah.
As that is happening, what are you all doing? You guys know you have a little bit of time before Aurora comes back. But otherwise, I mean, you guys have just a little bit of time here. You also do see there's 1 or 2 other people currently walking around outside. In fact, you guys hear a light conversation going on, maybe just a building or so over.
So this is not a busy place. It's just us.
Right now, it is just y'all in this little inn.
Okay. So there's no one here to serve us drinks or food or anything.
He did offer you drinks before he left.
Okay, but there's no like dedicated like
No.
innkeeper. Oh, I see.
There's also not like bottles on the shelves. Like if you go and look behind the counter, you'll see essentially 2 barrels, one like scratched in that says water and then one scratched in that says mead.
I see. Okay.
You also do see, like when you look behind there, there's some like crates that have extra equipment, like extra bags, a few extra pieces of clothing, as well as there's a crate that has extra like repair material for various buildings, some like bricks and stone and pieces of wood that could be used to fix up places, all of which are in crates with the Noxane name.
I think Valda like straightens her bow, and she's back in a town, so she cares to look a little nicer. She's not going to put on her fineries, but she is like a little bit self-conscious that she's now in her field clothes in the town.
Yes.
She's like dusting herself off.
As you guys are sitting there, someone comes in. It is this like tall elven woman. She is like almost 7 feet, like kind of thin. You see the pointed ears. Though interestingly enough, her skin has this like light tan to it. Those of you that have been out in the world enough instantly recognize a wood elf when you see one. Her hair kind of like a little bit messy, but pulled back into something of like a bun. As she comes in, you see that she's also wearing like some light leathers. She has what looks like 2 small blades on her side, as well as she has like a belt that has a couple of various tools on it. You immediately recognize just by looking at these things. These are tinker's tools. You see a pair of what looks like a blacksmith's hammer. As she comes in, and she just kind of goes, "Hi, I was told that you all were in town. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Kenneth. Pleasure to meet you all."
Gwyneth?
Gwyneth, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course. If there's anything you all need, I'm just right next door. In, I guess, what you would call his leftover blacksmith. If you all need me to look over your equipment or anything, I can do that for you. Otherwise, I'm going to be just over there, so...
Perhaps maybe our cart that we're traveling in?
Well, it's not really my specialty, but I can give it a once-over.
That's fine.
Christopher, I was wondering if we ought to get some of our if you've got more than just the 1 coin, some of our lead and maybe our silver shaved down, make some more sand. If not, I've got other plans.
When you say that, there's a look of like, an instant look of like, oh, I'm dealing with someone who knows what they're talking about. Kind of like that, like passive, like, oh, let me know if I can. Like, oh, okay. She kind of looks at you and she goes, unfortunately, I don't really have the facilities here to like powderize metals like that. It takes some specialty equipment that you can find in Greyhawk, but not here out in Elredd.
All right, well, that's no problem.
You said that name with such derision.
Who's Christopher?
Were you not paying attention when he introduced himself? Anyway, I was wondering,
I thought your name was Kai.
do you do repairs or creation?
A bit of both. I learned blacksmithing out here, so I'm not quite professionally trained, as some might call it.
Well, I was just wondering, because I've got these, got some silver crap on me. I don't really need to stay in the Foreman's Inn. And I was wondering if it would be possible to coat, and she pulls a spear off her back that you may or may not have noticed before, because I don't think I mentioned it. She pulls a spear off her back.
You pull it out of the quiver and it just keeps going.
It's a really thick extending swords.
And she's like, I was wondering, and correct me if you can't do this, that's fine. I've got the spear. I was wondering if you could coat the tip in some silver or some lead. And if you can't do that, that's all right.
She looks at you and goes, I mean, I can attempt it, but, I mean, Aurora's currently out getting firewood, and so...
I can make a fire for you, that's no problem.
Can you?
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, I can get to work on it.
So she hands her the thing and gets ready to...
Before, does anyone else need anything?
Yes, DM.
Oh, before you go, yes.
Are you capable of magic infusions or just like you blacksmithing?
I'm not quite an enchanter, as some people may call it. I'm really just like hands-on, melt the metal, make it kind of person.
It is fair.
For a druid, you have to stay
You cannot wear metal in your armor.
right, but it can be light, medium, or heavy.
I think only light or medium. I don't think you can do heavy.
Okay. And this leather armor.
Yep.
Gives me.
It's 11 plus your dex, I believe.
Yeah, so 2.
Okay.
I believe. So is there
There's
realistically
studded,
armor?
there's studded leather, but that would have been something you would have to like bought before you leave. They're not gonna have like extra sets of armor and stuff here, but
So.
So, as she kind of like takes this over you, she goes, "Yeah, I can
She's handing over like fine jewelry and a
Yeah.
signet ring and like
she's looking at this. She's like,
it's all right. I can get more. It's really fine.
are you sure you want me to note
I-
this down?
I mean, I'd have handed you my silver coins, but I'm currently not carrying any.
Okay. Well,
She like looks through. Yeah, none of those are heirloom. You're all right.
Just to wonder,
yeah.
do you have anything that's a little bit more sturdy for an old man like me?
Unfortunately, I can't say I do. I mean, the hard part is, man, I'm slipping into Southern.
You're welcome.
I swear to God, every time I have someone who has a Southern accent at my table, it's so hard to fight against it. It's got a natural draw.
Return to your roots.
That's not funny. That's not funny. I did.
That's me every time I go home to my mom.
Mom.
No, because I go home and I start calling her mama.
No, I'm back in Abilene right now.
But she looks at you and she kind of goes, I don't think I can, unfortunately.
Oh, do you have like a +1 or a +3 maybe?
What?
We barely have spare clothes out here, sir.
If you want spare clothes, I got some spare
I'm just gonna
finery.
stick to
Sierra
Southern.
Leone.
This is easiest for me. She's good. Unfortunately, I don't think we really have anything.
Oh, okay, I understand.
She like guides you over Valdove to next door, and it's kind of like this open area workshop where you can see a current like forge is cold and gone dark. You go over. She kind of points over and she goes, "If you could just ignite that by whatever means you have, just be careful."
Do you have a bucket?
I got a few, but I might need them. Why?
Damn. So you don't have one that you can spare?
Not at the moment.
Beans. Okay. She is going to
Trying to
use
steal this person's shit.
She's going to use the cantrip firebolt.
As it hits the like,
I am going to roll wild magic before you describe that. 77.
you're good.
Damn.
I saw the
You-
7 first and got
You
scared.
fire it out as it hits the forge. It takes a second as the embers kind of gather, and then kind of the flame ignites, and the forge kind of slowly begins to heat up. You see there's an anvil nearby and a rack with some tools. She like looks at the jewelry you've handed her with kind of like a, I cannot believe I'm about to destroy this. And then grabs a spear and kind of like lays it out and kind of goes, it'll take a little bit, but
That's all right.
if you want to come back in, maybe a few hours, then I should be done. Maybe just an hour or two.
All right, no problem. I think I'm probably going to be in the inn most times unless Aurora comes back and takes me elsewhere, but I won't go too far.
She kind of looks up towards the sun and she kind of goes, if she's on pace, she should be back pretty soon. So,
All right. And she's going to go back.
so you go back. As you guys are sitting there, just a little bit of time passes where you guys are finally getting to like take some time to sit and not on a moving carriage that's constantly jostling. It's nice being in a proper building again. Now, it doesn't have like air conditioning, but just even the protection from the sun of a proper roof and walls is a nice break from everything you guys have been dealing with.
Once
Natalia's
again,
gotten up
Arya
and
does not
poured
sit.
herself a mead
Yeah.
and is just kind of like kicked back.
As Valdov walks in, the Fey Wild Shard glimmers again.
Oh my god.
The who?
The Feywild
Fey
Shard.
Wild Shard, so she is replacing spells in her prepared.
Yeah.
Just,
It's barely
just picking.
it's barely noticeable. As you can see like a of glitter.
So, what's the plan? We're here seeking Aurora, and then we head out presumably to.
Prometheus small tower.
Do you have something, Arya?
I was just saying that Arya does not sit.
Fair enough. As you're kind of standing in the inn, it's very similar to how you began this story. It is not long, as you guys have spent time kind of relaxing, you working with Gwyneth in the blacksmithery. There's a proper word for that, forge. But you all are not only there for like maybe another 30 minutes of like unwinding just a little bit before you hear footsteps approaching, and then you see Umede kind of walk up back to the cabin. He is like the sword is sheathed again, and you see his like face is kind of like covered in dirt and like a little bit of dust, and he kind of goes, all right, well, sorry, Aurora is getting back right now, but she's having to do some stuff in the watchtower. She said y'all can either meet her there or she'll be here in a few hours. She has some work to do. It's up to y'all. I mean, he literally like just turns around and goes, the watchtower is just right there. though I will say it's a little bit more cramped in this space. Up to y'all at this point.
Well, if she's doing work, we probably shouldn't distract her.
Well, I'm kind of tired of sitting, so I suppose I can go meet her.
He does say, he's like, she'll be leaving another run later tonight, so if you don't catch her now, I'd recommend catching her before the date ends.
Oh my god, please.
Okay, then to the watchtower we will
Yippee!
If we, Umeda, if we don't come back before Gwyneth starts looking for me, just let her know where I went. We're going to Watchtower. That probably won't
Oh, you
change.
met Gwyneth?
Yeah, she's working on a spear for me. Well, spear tip.
Great. Yeah, I'll let her know if she comes looking for you. At this point, you guys hear like a deep huffing from behind Umede, and a dragonborn kind of like peeks his head in to the room. I say his, sorry. Peeks their head into the room as you see this like kind of very light, kind of bronze-ish toned dragonborn kind of lean in. You can see their scales have a little bit of patina at the edges of them, and there is a big scar that runs from like the side of their mouth down to near their neck. They have much heavier armor on. You see what looks like splint on their body and a massive, what looks like greatsword on their back. As you see them lean in, kind of just go, who are these people? And you see Umede kind of goes, oh, they're just new visiting in town. They're here on behalf of Finn. And you see the dragonborn kind of go, like he huffs and a little bit of smoke comes out of the nose. Don't know if that's right one. Either way.
Valdov does that too.
Yeah.
With her pipe just...
You do kind of goes, well.
Kai also does that. Why it's blue this time?
Oh, now everyone can do it.
Does everyone do it? Not me.
He kind of leans in a little bit further, and you see that as they lean in, the first thing you notice as they kind of fully come into view is that their right arm below the elbow is gone. In its place, you see what almost looks like some kind of mechanical device. But instead of like individual fingertips, what you see are like a thing that protrudes into a hand. And then at the end, you see almost what look like cylinders that, especially as an artificer, open and do something. You recognize this as not just like a prosthetic, but something advanced that has been made. As he kind of leans in and goes, well, wish you all the best of luck.
Wait!
Yeah.
You seem like a practiced fellow in the martial arts, so to speak. How would you like to make some money?
How so?
Some gold. You merely have to accompany us to our destination, which is...
Hell no!
What do you mean?
No, there are people here in Elredd who need me, and I would like to not go much further out if I don't have to. He kind of looks in your direction as you're doing that, kind of sees the massive halberd. She kind of goes, nice weapon. Where'd you get it?
It was given to me.
A gift. All the best weapons are.
She has served me well.
Of course. Well, and you see that Umede kind of like slinks back in. I mean, Umede is a solid like half this guy's height, and he just kind of goes, Aurora's still in the tower if y'all
Is
need
this
her.
guy towering over us? Like most of us?
Towering over you.
He's pretty tall. He's not nearly as tall as Gwyneth. Gwyneth is like 7 feet. He's a little over 6 foot tall, but not like
How
a
tall
giant.
is Arya?
Arya is 5'6".
Arya's not very tall unless she's enlarged. By
Oh,
her
I
age,
see.
yeah.
Okay, so he's like the tallest among all.
He's the tallest
Yeah.
one right now.
Right, well, it seems that our business is now in the watchtower.
I will say, I wasn't joking when I said Kai sneaks away. He's gonna go directly to the watchtower.
So you kind of slink off, kind of like squeeze right through the door, like, excuse me. And you take off. The rest of you all slowly join as Umede and the Dragonborn. As you guys are leaving, he kind of goes, oh, by the way, if y'all need me, the name's Edray.
Thank you, Edray.
I think, just for fun, as she passes, Valdov, rather subconsciously, as a Fey Walking Ranger, accidentally triggers Charm Person, and very much is like, I'm so sorry for my friend. We appreciate your help. I'm sure you've done great for this community. Please keep doing that.
What's the save on that?
The save on that is, I believe, just my spell save DC. So
Why?
she doesn't know she's doing it. That's the flavor text.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's doing it completely because she's like, there's a bad situation I need to mitigate, and this is her action.
See.
She is, however, she's like mildly enshrouded in the smoke that she is smoking. She looks a little less scary. And the save is, in fact, a wisdom saving throw
What's the number?
with the spell save of. I think I just take my highest spell save. The ranger spell save is 11.
Is it ranger?
It is. It's
Then
11.
it is 11. He does still fail. As he kind of goes, "Oh, thank you. We don't get many visitors out here, so to have someone speak so highly of me is always very gracious."
Quite frankly, this is his last trip out, I think.
He's popping a Werther's.
That wasn't even a bit. I just fucking had to cough.
At this point, you guys are pretty much at the watchtower. It is just kind of basic stone building that rises from the ground. There are different levels to it that you see, with the main one being this kind of cylindrical area that shoots up to probably about 50 feet high at its peak. From there, you see there are these kind of like ramparts where someone could look out over the distance. When Elredd was still a proper town pre-Blight, this was probably just an area where scouts could keep watch to make sure the town was safe. But now it is seemingly the highest point and some kind of beacon of safety for here, or for Elredd. Approaching inside, you guys hear the sounds of someone moving around and shifting. The door is just plain wood. It does not muffle sound very well.
Sorry, I have to do wild magic for my charm person.
Approaching though, you guys do see that there is some kind of level of more wear to this door, or at least in some way it is broken to some degree. There's a large kind of gash in the side of it that, unlike everything else in this town that has been clearly repaired over and over again, has been left. When you guys approach, are you knocking? Are you just saying something? What are you doing?
I think Kai would try to just and wait in a corner. He'll be in the room just watching and just wait for the rest of them to come.
So the door is closed to the watchtower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it locked?
You go up and test it. It is not locked.
He'll try to sneak inside.
Give me a stealth check.
Well, I do have disadvantage.
Attempting to sneak into a scout's building. So, we are going to go to you. What'd you get?
Yeah, so it's a 7. So
7.
I'm gonna assume is what happened is that Kai tries to sneak inside, but as he's just about to slowly sneak aside, his bird flies in and then very loudly hits the wall, and then he goes shit.
So, you try and kind of get inside. You turn the doorknob ever so gently and push open the door, and then you hear a whoosh, a crashing sound through a window as Goosey flies in and hits a wall. In the moment that you're opening the door and look in that direction, you see a crossbow bolt strike into the wall next to you.
Yeah.
And then you hear "Who's there?"
I'm so sorry. I didn't know there was someone inside. That's a fucking lie, by the way.
Yeah, give me a deception check.
Ooh, that's not bad. That's a 16.
16. You hear the person inside kind of go, when you're being told that this is a scout's place, it might not be the best idea to attempt to sneak in.
Bad habits die hard. I'm just gonna wait for everyone else. And then
You
close the
kind
door
of
again.
pull back for a second before the door fully opens in front of you. Standing on the other side, you see a woman who is a cloak that falls around her neck that kind of covers almost entirely all the way up, that kind of drapes off of one shoulder to the side. You see in her hand at the side, but with the finger still on the trigger, is a crossbow, as well as you can see a short sword kind of on her back that could be pulled off to the side like this. You look at her and you see someone who, especially as a sailor, as someone who traveled a ton, has seen a lot.
Yeah.
There's just a look in the eyes that people like that have.
Yeah.
Her hair is currently inside the top of the cloak, but it is kind of resting on the back half. And as she kind of shifts, it falls off, and you can see that she has this dark brunette hair that's currently pushed into a ponytail behind her head as far out of the way as possible. She is not, how tall are you?
Kai, I think, is a little short. He's 5'4".
5'4".
Yeah.
She's a decent bit taller than you, probably hovering around like 5'10", 5'11", just a little under 6 foot, as her half-elf nature shows there, giving her a little bit more height. Her ears are ever so slightly pointed, but not very much. And her skin, while not as pale as a high elf, shares some resemblance to that, as she has some level of that kind of fey shimmer to her that all elves share. Though in her, you do recognize a good chunk of humanity as you see the kind of like ruggedness that most literal, not humanity, but humans share in this world. She kind of looks at you and she kind of goes, "And you are?"
Sorry, I am Kai. Been sent here with Finn.
Okay.
So one of my party member was arguing with someone, and I thought that in the argument it took so long that you would have left. So I was just gonna wait and like surprise you, I guess. It wasn't the smartest plan, if I have to admit.
She kind of looks at you, looks you up and down, looks at over all your equipment, sees like Gusti in the corner, like stars circling his head from being knocked out.
I think telepathically, Kai just go, "It's your fucking fault. I could have done this."
Gusti just goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
You see Aurora kind of looks at you and goes,
Well, here's a bit of advice. If you're ever looking to surprise someone, maybe get in the building first without a pet alerting the entire neighborhood.
she looks behind you and sees the rest of the group walking
Neighborhood?
up as
You mean
well.
5 buildings?
True. She sees the rest of you walking up, and she just kind of goes,
Oh, okay. Well,
great. I am not in the middle of something per se, but unless this is something urgent, I'm going to be quite wrapped up for the next few hours.
Well, we were simply checking in with. Well, we're looking for Aurora. Is that you?
That's me.
Perfect. We have been sent by Finn, and she'd pull out the letter and kind of, show her. He said to find you.
I believe you're supposed to hand her the letter. She can probably
She
read.
just kind of goes,
I mean, it's just saying that she knows that she's
I
going to
would love
guide us
to
to the
see it
quote.
if at all possible. She kind of takes it from you, reads over it. You see her eyes kind of glancing back and forth, and then clearly land on the kind of sigil at the bottom. She goes, okay, well, that is urgent then. She kind of goes and says, give me one moment. And she opens the door fully and kind of brings a few chairs that were kind of like pushed to the edges of the room towards the middle, where you see this kind of like long oval table in the middle. This was clearly at the base of the watchtower, some kind of like kitchen or room where stuff could be prepared. People may have lived here or been stationed here, and so having something on hand would have been nice. She pulls up all the chairs to the table and she kind of goes, you all sit down. I'll join you all in a minute. I just have to do something upstairs for a moment.
That's a problem.
Okay, so
This paper that he was given, was it the one we found in the sand?
No, it was the
Originally.
original
It's the
letter
original.
that
Yes, the
was given to you all.
Veldiv still has the one from the sand.
You all kind of move in, and while you don't sit down, everyone gathers around the table.
I
Aurora,
will say she is standing right behind Pygmaeus.
all right.
Aria, honey, you're allowed to sit down. Notably, accent gone while she's casting
Yeah.
Charm Person.
True.
Thank you. Then she
you-
will take a seat.
Okay.
Was that the whole thing?
You say that you may sit down, and Arya takes a seat.
She keeps her feet planted on the ground, even if it's a little inconvenient, and she has to like
She just,
scoot
like, sit up,
forward.
yeah.
but she does.
Aurora goes to one side of the watchtower where you see there is a ladder that kind of goes up the side that leads to clearly the higher levels. She vanishes for a moment, is gone for maybe 2 minutes. You guys hear the sounds of something shifting around upstairs, and then come back down. As you guys are there in the tower around the table, Aurora comes back down the ladder after hearing some commotion from the higher level. She kind of grabs a chair at the end of the table and sits down. She kind of goes, okay, well, pleasure to meet you all. You all clearly know my name already. I'm Aurora. How can I help you?
We are attempting to get to Prometheus Tower.
When you say that, there is this feeling that the air around you all is kind of like suddenly very still as you feel Aurora's vibe kind of shift just a bit from like a oh, what are you here for to a oh, okay. Interesting note. Prometheus Tower, you're trying to get all the way out there.
Yes.
It's pretty far.
We have been tasked to go there and retrieve an item. Well, not retrieve, but locate. And then we are to tell Finn where we are and how to get there.
Yeah, actually, I was just reminded of something that Finn had said he'd known you for a while. If I might ask, how long you've known Finn?
Well, first thing is, yes, Prometheus Tower is all the way out there. Whatever you're looking for is there. It's going to be a dangerous journey. She kind of chokes on the words. She goes, I would take great caution. Once you get to the core wood, there is not much reprieve. No time to rest. So, there's a level of danger out there that not many people are accustomed to, that even I hesitate to go near. But I think you all seem relatively capable if you've made it this far, and most of you, even if blighted, don't seem that bad.
Tell me, Miss Aurora, what did you see precisely?
Before she gets to your question, she goes, I'll answer that in one moment, but I believe you had a question. Before I answer that, sorry, introductions.
Natalia.
I'm Velda of Adkar.
Pygmaeus.
Aria.
Gusti.
Well,
Which is funny because he already introduced himself as
You
Sky.
you already introduced yourself as Kai.
you say Gucci, she goes,
I think you would recognize now that Kai is a pathological liar.
Valda like looks at him, looks back at her notes about his sulky girlfriend.
as you do that, she kind of looks at you and goes, I've known Finn as long as I can remember, from a very young age.
Well,
What is everyone's passive insights? And I will,
12.
How do we calculate that?
is 10 plus your insight.
14.
14,
10.
10,
13.
13. And then, what'd you say again, Arya?
12.
12. It's hard to read, but Aurora is not a good, not liar, but she's not good at hiding emotions. She is a scout at the end of the day, not a bard. And so when she says, as long as I can remember, you can hear her, like, you previously thought that she was choking on words because of the core wood or because of Prometheus Tower. What you're realizing is she's hesitant, not necessarily hesitant, but she is finding it hard to speak on everything. And she just kind of goes, I've known Finn as long as I can remember from a very young age. He's a good man.
heartening to hear. I ask because on our path here at where were we? That broken down town.
Safeton.
Safeton. I found a letter in the sand that I belonged to Finn at some point. It was addressed to former adventurers, and I thought maybe you would be interested. And then she hands it to her, but I think it's on Aegis and Dewa's table.
She kind of.
I'm not handing it. He knows what it says.
Yeah, I do. She reads over it, and she goes, "Yeah. I've seen those letters before. At least some of them. You seem curious.
As a researcher to End the Blight, I certainly find it a little interesting that he had all of this technology, and I mean, Greyhawk in particular isn't in extraordinary need of it, but there were other towns that did, and they don't exist anymore, and I'm not entirely sure of the timeline of destruction here, but it seemed to me like more towns could have been saved if he had been more forthcoming. But seeing as you seem comfortable about this, and the letter is not unfamiliar to you. I'm
Give me
choosing right
a
now.
persuasion check.
Cool.
I'll say anyone who has proficiency in it may also help with this, and then a small reminder to project.
Where is my persuasion? There it is. Okay.
So what is Valdov trying to get?
This is a persuasion check.
Yeah, it's
Essentially, trying to become friendlier with this
Oh,
person.
okay.
a 5.
A 5.
Which,
Saving room.
she's pretty clearly using a spell. And
Oh, are you casting Charm Person?
Charm Person lasts for an hour. So I'm saying that the effects that happen on her also last for an hour. So she's pretty clearly still using a spell. And it's not affecting her,
I see.
but it is still in effect.
She looks at you and she kind of goes, "It's a complicated story."
As
I
most things
would
are.
agree. Having this stuff and not using it to better the world immediately is certainly a choice. But one I've only been assured is necessary. Though the definition of that word is loose.
As have I, and I I hope to have that proven to me.
She kind of looks at you, and despite the low persuasion check, you feel a level of amicability of okay, we don't see things that differently. She looks and goes, "Well, going out to the core ward, there's some things you should know of. The paths end here. There's nothing beyond Elredd. This is the last of the sand that we had and was used to protect this place. It is the furthest outpost that Greyhawk has. There is no safety beyond here. Not to say that you are immediately doomed, but to say that you all must be on your toes. I think that realistically there's a level of harm that could instantly befall someone. Not even just over time, but the ability for the core ward to rapidly take people is known to me and my crew. I wish I could give you all more in terms of the core ward, but I can't lie, I've not been daring enough to explore it all the way. I know where you can enter it safest. If you head directly east from here, from the watchtower, you'll find a small area where we've done our best to cut away the blight. But as you all are sure to know, cutting away blight does not stop it. It only temporarily removes it. We do our best to upkeep our paths, but we are in a constant losing battle. So,
But tell me this. You seem to know Finn, and you seem to know a lot about the sand that we didn't even know about. Now, as I understand it, either you or you over there have the potion that Finn gave us. Are you familiar with what we are about to show you?
give me a persuasion check. As she kind of Natalia, I'm assuming you hold up the potion for her to see.
I mean, if
He's
he's
asking-
talking about it, she'd be like,
Man,
yeah,
I
we have
guess.
one.
Or doesn't reach out for anything. She just
Yeah.
kind of takes a glance and she goes,
She
Oh.
flash it real quick.
yeah. She goes, I've seen one or two of those before, though those are more recent. Very recent.
It seems like I didn't write my persuasion here, unfortunately. Now, unless you know the
What is your
form-
charisma modifier?
Sorry?
What is your charisma modifier?
My charisma is +0.
So it would also just be a +0, unless you're proficient in it, which I don't think you are.
Okay, gotcha.
So it should be +0. Yep, go ahead.
19.
19's pretty good. There you go. So as Aurora looks at you, she kind of goes, I can't say I know a ton about those. I'm no alchemist. I'm no magician, or whatever you call yourself. As
The Feywild chart glimmers again.
yeah,
That is the third time today, so there will be wild magic the next
Yes.
podcast.
She looks in and she goes, all I know is that those are more recent creation. They've taken quite some time to properly make, and they take quite a bit of resources and time to settle. They are useful. We have a handful here, but I hate to say we cannot give any to you. They are necessary for us to even just survive.
And who made these?
She paused for a moment, looks at you with a 19 persuasion. She kind of goes, take a guess. Finn.
And is there anything else that you and Finn might know about that perhaps we would want to know too?
She looks at you and goes, I can't say much in terms of what I know because, to be honest, I'm just a scout. I don't have any knowledge of the intricacies of magic or the development of the world. I take no interest. My interest is in surviving to tomorrow. That's what's important to me. And so,
She lying?
give me an insight check. She goes, my interest is in serving tomorrow. And also, I have not really been in close contact with Finn for quite some time.
I think Valdiv looks at Natalia and is just like, big sense for the look of, there's a messy breakup here.
You know what's funny? With all the bad rolls, the one time I get a really good one is when it matters.
What'd
Which
you
is a
get?
20.
20.
Wow.
You, natural 20? Oh, shit. Okay, so you are reading into Aurora in a way of like knowing people that have gone through pain, knowing people that have gone through kind of tumultuous times, and reading that on her. You sense that she is in no way lying to you all or even hiding anything. She's fully divulging everything she knows. And with a natural 20, you know it's not out of a kindness of her heart, but out of a, if you don't know this, I am setting you all up for failure. She's doing this as a, like, I know what it's like out here. I know how hard it is to survive. And so if you all don't know this, I will only make your lives harder. And there's a sense of like, no one out here is safe. Everyone's a victim. She looks at you and she kind of goes, like I said, I've not talked to Finn in, well, properly talked to him in a good decade or so. There's been a letter here, there, but for the most part, nothing.
Oh. Wow.
We mostly communicate through people he sends my way.
What is
He
your
must be
connection?
Leave it to a man to do that.
He must be so just gosh darn interested in his work.
And
Yes.
so your connection to
much
this
so.
land is
She looks at you and she kind of goes, Finn and I were in closer contact a while back, but we haven't spoken in a while. I mean, and after having spoken with you for a minute, she kind of looks like solemnly and then kind of goes, like chokes out the word. She kind of goes, I mean, it's been a long time since we've talked, and to be completely honest, I do still believe he's a good man. I mean, he did raise me, but there's a moment of like hesitation with her where she kind of like chokes it in and she kind of goes, he raised me to do what is best, and I don't always think it's what he's doing, but I do believe he's a good man.
So, on a slightly less personal note, I presume there is nothing you can tell us about this orb that we are searching for.
It's bigger than you think.
Oh, well, that's actually quite interesting. You said you haven't explored the core wood. Have you seen it yourself, or do you know Tell from Finn?
I was there before it was blighted. I know the general paths, and I can lay them out for you on a map. But to say if they're safe or not anymore, I can't.
Well, any hint of a path would probably be easier to get through than just random forest.
She kind of goes, do you all have a map of the area?
We do.
A general,
No.
but not of the core wood.
When you hold that map, she goes, can I see that from you? No, I'm not actually gonna have you hand it to me. She takes it and you see she reaches into a bag and pulls out what looks like a quill. But she does not dip in ink. You see it just kind of like automatically fills itself with ink. And she kind of like starts drawing on the map and she kind of goes, if you followed this path through the core wood, it was the safest way back when it was normal, but who knows at this point, as well as the fact that to get to Prometheus Tower, especially with how badly the area is blighted, and I must emphasize, it's bad. Your safest option is to take the underground tunnels in what were the mines in the Lortmo Mountains. The tunnels there are relatively safe. I'm sure as you've discovered up to this point, especially having gathered some knowledge on your journey, The lead in the sand helps repel the blight. And being an ex-mine of, in case you did not know, lead, the Lortwell Mountains, their inner workings naturally repel it. You'll be mostly safe there, though by no means is it foolproof. Once you go through those tunnels, you should find an entrance to Prometheus Tower somewhere amongst the mines. I cannot say I fully know anymore. It's been a very long time.
So where we're going is completely enshrouded with the blight. Is that because there's something in there, in that region, drawing it, or is that just because of a lack of the sand or population or movement or some such?
Well, if it's attracted to magical things and this orb is extremely
big
magical.
I see.
It's a mix of both. I can't say whether or not, or like what causes it, but not only a lack of our precautions that are set up out there, but as well as some kind of level of intensity of the blight in the area makes it just extra hazardous.
It would also make sense if the blight was protecting itself, because the fewer people that can get into the mountains to mine the lead and the silver, the less there is protection.
It's true. I actually just have
Again, it's a smart creature.
question. You mentioned when we I'm a bit scatterbrained. You mentioned when we started this interaction that what we seek is at Prometheus Tower. Now, as far as I recall, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, we are only being sent to ensure that it's there by Finn. This isn't a fetch and retrieve, although based on what the Blight does chasing magic, I imagine that no retrieval mission would be safe. But if we already know it's there, why are we here?
If I am entirely honest, is because to some degree, we know it's there, or it was. We don't know if it's still there. And more importantly, we don't know how safe it is to access.
Oh, so we're bait. Gotcha.
Something called that.
Less
but
beta, more guinea pig?
I don't think it's bait. More so, when you're traveling through a densely thicketed forest, you don't send your most unprotected people first to run into thorns and vines. You send the person with a machete who can get there easiest and cut through everything. Finn is a brilliant man. He's a flawed man. He's a good man. But he's no adventurer.
Did Finn send us first so that we clear the way for him?
To some degree.
I think it's to know if it's even possible.
I don't. You, wizard folk, right?
You close enough, yes.
You have magic that can move you?
Yes, sort of, sometimes. I can, yes. If I need that, I can switch it.
Because at this point, especially seeing what we saw with the path earlier. Oh, which you should know.
And you should know.
A little bit before Safeton, we rested in Safeton. There is the path that goes to Grey Hawk from Safeton, right? It is gone.
Wonderful. Okay.
It's also important to know the blight.
Not so much gone as
It's scattered.
broken up.
It's scattered. The blight specifically took action in the night while we were resting to do that. Now that may have been my fault. I'm a caster. We were resting in a casted fortress, sort of. We were resting in a casted room. Entirely possible that I attracted it, but I would not have seen it react as blatantly harmful to itself in a greater effort to seemingly harm us. That's not a thing I've seen before.
She kind of looks at you and goes, we've seen things similar before, especially this far. I'll send Corwin to go repair that path. He can do it. Honestly, I do have to get back to work. There's something I must get done, but I'll leave you all with some words, because it seems like most of you are a little unsure of the path ahead.
especially you, and I fully understand. Finn is a person. In the time I spent with him, in every lesson he taught me, every virtue he tried to instill, was always seeking the greater good. He would not send people to go to this thing if he didn't truly, truly believe that it would remedy everything here. I was young when the Blight hit, very young. And so I don't know what it was like when it was first kind of entering our world. It was first consuming the world. But I know that Finn did everything he could to protect. Finn's greatest problem, his greatest flaw, is that as brilliant as he is, the greatest virtue he holds is also his greatest weakness. It is pride and belief that he alone can do it.
A real chosen one complex.
So tell me, what's the nature of your work in here?
I'm out here to help those who make it this far. Not everyone can live in Greyhawk. Not everyone can afford it. It's overcrowded. It's hard. Not everyone even likes living there. So people who wish to go out into the world, there needs to be someone out there to shepherd them.
I see. So I take it you're not coming with us?
No. My work is here.
We wouldn't ask you. Well, he might, but the rest of us.
She looks
A
at you
man's
all.
gotta ask.
She looks at you all and she kind of goes, I truly do hope that you all succeed. Perhaps if Finn can finally complete his research or his work or whatever it is that he's grandstanding about this time, we can see some kind of reprieve.
Okay, because I, the player, don't remember the Dragonborn's name, she is going to, before Aurora leaves, warn her and be like, hey, if the Dragonborn notices in a few minutes that he's been charmed, just let him know that was an accident.
She can goes, look, okay, I'll let Elredd know.
It's a nervous habit.
Got it. She looks at you and she kind of stands up. She goes, I'll leave you all to it. I will also say, your carriage won't make it far into the Courtwood.
I say we leave it here. I mean, you may find a greater use with it, and our horses could certainly use the rest until we fly back home.
We'll try and keep it safe and keep your horses fed.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you all return.
Thank you.
She turns around to go upstairs before kind of pausing, looking, turning around back to you all, and she kind of goes, I hope the gods have mercy on you all. It's tough out there, not just on the body, but on the mind. You see things that, and you see like a look of genuine like horror kind of flash across her face, and she kind of goes, things that were not meant to exist. And she kind of goes to the ladder, climbs up slowly, and then makes her way back upstairs, leaving you all to ponder for a moment and finish up before you start heading back out.
Right before she left, when she said, like, may the gods guide you, I think Arya instinctively would have responded, let the earth beneath your feet guide your path.
She would have said, I like that one. Maybe I'll steal it.
Arya, like, oh.
Right there, as Aurora kind of leaves you all with what information she has, she kind of also, or like you guys didn't notice at the time, left just a few sheets of paper on the desk, but we'll have to get to that next time, as we're having to wrap up the episode there with you guys having made it to Elredd, getting your rest. We'll probably do a long rest off camera just for the sake of time. But I promise you the viewers will not miss much. It's just resetting health and resetting spell slots. As you guys take the day in Elredd to rest, as Aurora will wrap up her work and then head off again for the night. Umede is going to make sure that you guys have a comfortable living space to sleep in if you guys wish to do so, which it seems like you do, though we will discuss it briefly on the next episode as well. That is it for Project Crit Episode 4. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you in Episode 5.